Ladies and gentlemen, the Freaky Fast broadcasting on your Monday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the ISRC Literary Art Productions Truck Series as the drivers for Season 8 coming off an incredible Daytona run. We got to see the mayhem and carnage, but ultimately it was Jared Talmadge coming away with the win. Here tonight, though, the drivers test their skills at a track where it's going to be all about track position. Get up front, hope that you've got the speed, and it's all under the lights for the Pink Horn 400 here at Homestead. Once again, thank you so much for joining with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer, and joining me up in the booth, as always, is Zach Hall. And Zach, coming off the last week, these drivers know tonight as that true test to see where people's speed could be at for the rest of the season.
That's exactly right, Sam. We come off of Daytona where anybody can go out there and get a victory. It's really just a survival game. Well, tonight is the first true test of your speed. So let's see who can really put it all together. I think qualifying could be a little bit of a telltale sign, but we know that Homestead, Miami, one of the best, mile and a halves out there on the iRacing circuit, and always known in NASCAR as one of the best tracks for putting on some of the best racing. So qualifying won't matter that much because you can come through the field, but it's still difficult. These trucks we've seen in the past where, it's not really the game of who can save the most. It's really who can get out front and manage from there and really control their track position fate. So we'll see who can do that the best, but I think tonight, like you said, will be that first true test of speed.
As qualifying's underway, talked to some of the drivers before the broadcast. They all said this might be one of the most important parts of the race. Get up front, and whoever's leading the race at the start of tonight could find themselves in a victory lane with how easy it is to control with clean air, and putting dirty air on the driver behind you in the pole position could be critical here tonight. As drivers are underway with qualifying, first couple of laps for their first lap are coming across the line, and it's Dakota Moniz. Lap one could be top of the board with Trent Jump in second, but we're expecting this lineup to change a lot at the ticker board. Second lap going to be the money lap, but you got to also make sure you stay out of the outside wall as Dakota Moniz looks like he might have scraped the wall, but keeps his foot in the throttle as he continues to try to put at least a decent lap down. Again, pull lap for lap one for the 5, hoping that it sticks at least for the rest of this run. But Zach, all these drivers putting everything on the line with how important it is to be up front. As Cody Smith top of the board, Trenton Jump takes it back, and here we go. It's the swing of who can keep the top spot.
Jump with a great lap time there. He's held on to it kind of thoroughly there, almost a 10th and a half over the 24 Fonseca, who slots in second. Is now, as I say that, it's going to be Joshua Stovall, who's still about a 10th and a quarter back, but now Eric Stamp, I said that's going to go up there with his Armadillo teammate and put himself right there in the second spot. So that's some great times being able to do, and now even Nick Crawford. So just shows you on that third or that second lap, it seems to be the quickest lap as we normally see at most places, and that's where people are finding the most speed right now. Is we're seeing what the 45 of Justin Smith can do right here on his qualifying lap.
Armadillo Motorsports 1, 2, 3 currently top of the board as that grouping of 3 drivers want to prove that this is their season. As Trenton Jump looking quick, and he's had success here in the past at Homestead. He won his championship all the way back in season 2. The first time that they ran at this track, he didn't win that race, but he led the most laps, and he wants to be up front. Feels the most comfortable as Justin Smith in the 45 is going to be finishing out his time for his first lap for the 45 machine, where he's going to be placing himself after this second lap, as he's going to be 16th on the board with a 33.2. Top of the board, it is a 32.751 is the pole time from Eric Stamp. For Trenton Jump, Eric Stamp going to be about almost a tenth off of our leader at the current time. But Zach, we know there's a lot of other fast drivers to watch out for, and also got reports a couple of drivers will be starting in the back intentionally. One of those being Danny Cochran. He wants to, with his part-time schedule, deciding to challenge himself here tonight as a former Armadillo's racing teammate. It's Noah Steele going to be second on the board now.
Wow, yeah, just it showed you those guys have got it together. Noah not part of that team now, but still just showing everybody's got speed, and Noah the closest that we've seen to Trent Jump. So that's very impressive to see now, as even Mason Cassidy's going to jump up to that 7th spot. Is now Danny Ware in the 35, a newcomer here in the league. He's going to jump up the second and only be 4 thousandths of a second off. So great timing for him, and even Malik Kuntz jumping over there. So late times coming through, and maybe This for Alan Elwood, who we're watching right now, his second lap time coming through. We'll see what this will produce, and that's going to slot him to the top of the board.
Alan Elwood, captain of the Elwood Designs Esports team. Top of the board is newcomer debut driver of Danny Ware, going to be third on the board currently. And the driver who has dominated this race in the past, John Forbes, looks like he will start in the back, not going to be putting a time in, didn't even practice. So we'll get a sense of what speed John Forbes has and how well he can climb through the field. Other drivers starting in the back. Last week's winner, Jared Talmadge, will start in the back, as well as Thomas Green, as well as Vincent Sora. So a lot of fast contenders back in the day are expected to start in the back. We'll see how well they can climb through, as it is Alan Elwood as well as Danny Ware 1-3, and surrounded by a couple of other Armadillo drivers. But it is going to be a fun race to watch here tonight. A lot of speed from the newcomers as the rookies look quick. As we take a quicker deep dive into tonight's race, we're currently going to be racing here at Homestead Miami Speedway, a 1.5-mile course. And Zach, this track, more unique than others. It is got that progressive banking, but such unique speed that we always find at this course.
Oh, for sure. This track has got a ton of speed in it, and it's known for tire fall off. But the one thing, like you said, you brought up earlier, is about how important qualifying was going to be. It's got a ton of grip lately, especially with these trucks, and it really becomes more important about the aero on your nose. You really have to find clean air around here, and you know, it's a tough thing to do when everybody spreads out and runs different lines of this track. It can kind of clog things up and make it tough to find that clean air. So once we drop the green flag, it's going to be interesting to see if many people can charge their way through. Like you said, we got a lot of fast drivers starting out back. They, I think, will, you know, climb their way through, Sam, but at some point it's going to be a struggle for them the farther they get up through the field, just due to that clean air factor being so important.
Over 30 drivers going to be racing here tonight. A total of 33 expected to take the green. We were going to see 34, but another driver who's going to be making his debut race here tonight had to step away as other things have popped up. That was going to be Tyler Barnett, who we expected to see the 13 with some good speed here this evening. He will not be making his debut here tonight. Maybe he might be making it next week at the Glen. As the schedule that we have for this upcoming season, Zach, we've got Daytona last week, Homestead this week, Watkins Glen, Chicagoland before we have our first off week of the season. First 4 races, very diverse that we're feeling that these drivers are going to get their first feelings of the season. But I know these tonight and the next 2 really going to be tone setters for the rest of the season.
They definitely are, for sure. I think tonight kind of starts it off most importantly, just to get off on the right foot. I mean, someone like Alan Elwood, a new driver to the league, same for Danny Ware, to come out here and immediately make a statement. Same for Richard Thomas. I mean, look at all 3 of them. They're making a statement already with a great qualifying run like this, showing that they have the speed already to contend here at ISRC. Now it's going to be putting the races together, and I think these next really 3 races will be a true test for these drivers to see who has the full package. You know, who's quick on the 1.5 mile here at Homestead, who's going to be quick next week at a very traditional Watkins Glen, you know, track that everybody really knows. It's a place where I think it's kind of, the play on the field has been leveled out when it comes to road courses there, just due to how many times we've ran there over the years, that Watkins Glen always becomes very close, you know, very much fought throughout the field. So it's going to be fun to go there. And then Chicagoland, I think you can take a little bit from tonight to carry to there. So these next 3 weeks, I think, like you said, will be very critical to learn everything. And of course, the off week.
We also want to take a closer look at who are some of the spotlight drivers we're expecting to see perform well here this evening. We know we've got some drivers that qualified well, but I got to say, one of the drivers I picked thought he was going to qualify. He didn't. He's going to have a tough night here this evening, getting through traffic. I'm going to be picking here tonight. My driver, watch out for Vincent Sora. He's found his way almost in the victory lane a couple of times here at Homestead. He's been second fiddle so many runs. When I picked Vinny, it was before John Forbes registered into this race, but with some of these late registering drivers, I think Vinny's going to have a tougher night than we've seen in the past, but that's going to be my pick for this evening. I know, Zach, you've got a different pick after getting the winning pick last week with Jared Talmadge.
Yeah, we went with Jared Talmadge last week. This week, I'm going to go with the 24 of Ali Fonseca. I've seen Ali run well at the 1.5 miles before in this ISRC Truck Series. He's done especially well here at Charlotte, in my opinion, and Homestead. I think tonight could be an opportunity for that 24 machine, starting a little bit farther back in 15, but we'll see how he tries to make his way through the field.
excited to see how that 24 will perform here this evening. And our third member of our Freaky Fast broadcasting crew is Robert Moyer Jr., and he's going with a solid pick as well. Like I said, he's performed quick. He's led the most laps back in Season 2, hoping to find similar success here in Season 8. It's going to be the 46 of Trenton Jump. Three different teams, three different drivers, and it is going to be a fun one here tonight. I know there's a lot of other quick drivers, like we said, the Elwood Designs esports team, the rookie group that has come all together. They're also going to be a very fast group overall to watch, and I think, Zach, they're going to be the unknowns of this season, but we have got a feeling that they might be the fast ones to watch out for once we go green.
I'm excited. I love it. I love when we see some new, drivers in here to bring some speed and stuff too, because it really shakes up the things up front. I think we've had our true contenders for the past few seasons, and I think it's good to always add a few. And it seems like we've added not only 1 to 2, maybe 3 or 4.
As that will be again the Elwood Designs esports team to watch out for. As for us here tonight, we just finished up practice, qualifying, and warm-up. That means it is about to be race time here this evening. As for Homestead tonight, we will run 160 laps, no stage break. That's right, for this season, there are no stage break, no stage points. We can run all the way through this race, green to checkered. We'll see if these drivers can make that happen here tonight. There will also be no fast repair, Fortress Sense tires, and pit road. And your pole driver for this evening, his first career in the ISRC Lara Production Truck Series, it's Alan Elwood in the 4, taking the top spot. To his outside, it's the 46 of Trenton Jump. That's going to be Robert Moyer Jr.'s pick to watch out for this evening. Down in third place, we'll find Danny Ware in the 35, making his debut race this evening. Down in fourth is the 8 of Noah Steele. Richard Thomas going to be in the 37, will qualify 5th, but hit with an EOL penalty. He will start at the end of the line here tonight with a reckless driving late last week at Daytona. So the 37's got a long evening for himself. In the 77, it's a Malik Kuntz, hoping to find some Mark Whitley magic with that number, starting in 6th. 7th is Eric Stamp. Logan Brakey going to be in 8th. 9th, we find Nick Crawford, and Jesse Newsom going to be finishing out our top 10.
Starting in 11th, it's going to be the 17 truck of Mason Cassidy. Alongside him, it's going to be the UPS man, the 42 machine. It's going to be Josh Estovo on 12th. 13th is going to be Nico Garcia. 14th is going to go to the 82 of Justin Sykes, with 15th being my pick tonight of Ali Fonseca. 16th is going to go to Joshua Kanata. 17th, Isaac Shelley. 18th in qualifying is going to go to Ethan Smith. 19th is going to be the 50 of Samuel Garcia. And rounding our top 20, it's Cody Reed.
Down in 21st, it's Justin Smith in the 45. Ryan Ferraro in 22nd. In 23rd, it's the 99 of Michael Miller. Going to also have to start at the end of the line. In 24th is the 44 of Mark Labertone. We'll see how he's going to be able to work his way forward. In 25th, it's the 7 of Cody Smith. Dakota Moniz is going to be starting in 26th position. Justin Forbes in the 97 will start 27th, with Tyler Dangler in 28th. John Forbes going to be starting in 29th, the first of the drivers that did not qualify, with Vincent Sora 30th. Jared Talmadge, our winner from last week, will start 31st. 32nd is Danny Cochran, and Thomas Green finishing out our 33 drivers that will be taking the green here this evening, as Tyler Barnett officially is not going to be able to race here tonight. He was hoping to make his debut race, but other things popped up where he was not able to run this evening. 33 drivers, Zach, for 160 laps. Again, with no stage. We'll see how this field can really set up for this run, because that mentality is completely different now.
That it is. This is going to be very interesting. The no stage aspect of this, I think, could make things a little bit more strung out than we could see. I mean, we normally get that stage, and that thing brings things back together. I think everybody who didn't have their shot to be aggressive in the beginning gets aggressive. So we could get a strung out race here, or early cautions could fly. We'll just have to see what the mentality of these drivers are like. And you never know, sometimes they're calm and cool, and sometimes they're ready to let the sparks fly.
Speaking of sparks fly, already some early issues for some drivers. as it's the 17 of Mason Cassidy having internet issues. He blinked in front of another driver and got spun around in pit road. So the 17 will start in pit road for this start of the race. But tonight, it's the Pinkhorn 400 at Homestead as we are green with Trent Jump, Alan Elwood roaring down into turn number 1. And it's the 46 on the outside with a quick nose ahead. But as they go through 1 and 2, always the worry, can we stay green off the exit of this corner, as 2 has always been the danger spot, and we look good for now.
Oh, one truck goes sliding way down the racetrack. That was Nick Crawford. He gathers it up, but he's going to lose a ton of track positions. He's going to slot back around the 9th position, but 3 wide from about 8th on back as it's stacked up here as they're still battling for that lead up front. As Elwood's just going to be a nose ahead here to lead the first lap.
Hit the pole, lead a lap. That's 2 bonus points given to the Ford machine as he'll continue to charge forward. Battling, though, just inside of our top 10. You find a 71. That's going to be Newsom trying to find a way to get by Ollie Fonseca as well as Nick Crawford. Able to get by the 24, and with that massive run, he'll set up Crawford as well. As the 71 moves forward, everyone searching for clean air, good track position, and you got to make these moves quick, Zach. I mean, that's been the talking point. Once everyone gets strung out, we get single file, it's impossible to make any big moves.
It really is. It gets so tough to do, and I think that's why the fight for the lead has been so critical. And can confirm Trent Jump has finally got the job done, is cleared for the lead, because this battle back here has been so exciting. We haven't been able to watch that because this is so stacked up. It's all 78. It's going to go around.
Going around is going to be seeing the 78 machine of Nico Garcia, and he's trying to stay off course. Also, the 44 goes around of Labertone. And it looks like just a little tap spin out, and luckily, no one really getting hard into the outside wall. That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. And I think some of that action there where Labertone got involved was Justin Forbes was checking up and kind of lost the rear end and spun out in front of him off of 2. So that caught those 2 up in their own little fiasco. So that was very, very wild. But you can see the 78. He almost took off there, went around.
See the battling. It's going to be off of turn 2. This is the setup. As they hit the front stretch, as all these drivers on top of one another. You're going to see Malik Koontz in the 77 just trying to find spacing. Nico Garcia using the middle lane, able to throttle up, but it's the 53 on the outside. It kind of spooks, I think, Garcia, as well as seeing the 29 Reiki getting into one another, as well as another incident behind. But kind of a bizarre incident, but with how well with how much they squeeze off the exit of these corners, it's bound to happen that we're going to see contact like that being 3 wide, as long as we were.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was definitely one of those moments where he just stepped out in the 78 with the car on the outside of him. He was probably a little bit, like you said, kind of caught up with him on the outside and then lost the rear end. And unfortunately, the 25 was there, or sorry, the 29 was there, and really couldn't do anything to not stop from turning the 78. So good on everybody not to hit any walls, though. That's the thing to make the guy take away from that. But just re-rack them now and see how this works out. You know, it looks like we did have. It looks like only one person hit pit road here, so I was trying to see if anybody would come down at least top off back there, Sam, and maybe just gain a little bit of advantage of maybe some strategy in the hand. But looks like everybody just willing to stay out.
Yeah, feeling like maybe it's a little bit too early to make that stop. Nico Garcia going to be coming in, just checking out on any damage, also topping off on fuel. Justin Forbes also came into pit road to get more damage repair after his contact, being hit by the 44. That's what got the 44 spun around, was after their contact. And also still in pit road is Mason Cassidy, who I believe is still trying to figure out internet issues for the 17, who officially is still yet to take the track. He's been sitting on pit road before we went green, as 32 drivers going to be out on track as Forbes, Justin Forbes in the 97 finally gets back out on course. I want to say thank you to Justin Forbes for being one of those sponsors, major sponsors for the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. Coming in on board with Gridless Graphics. Go over to Gridless Graphics. It's an affordable way to get yourself some nice looking schemes to promote whatever you want as a race car driver in iRacing. This could be a scheme of your design choice, or even if you like the real life scheme, Justin can make it for you. Again, go check out Gridless Graphics today. They are our new season-long sponsor with ISRC Truck Series, and also going to be the White Flag sponsor. So it's great to see new sponsorships coming together to help leagues out as well. We want to say thank you. You might be noticing some new cameras for us here on Freaking Fast Broadcasting. We want to say thank you to Whiplash Sim Cameras for being a new help with us here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting. We're always looking for new cameras to give you different angles of the action out on track, and so thankful to be partnering up with Whiplash Sim Cams today as the field about to be taken off and going here. It's going to be Trenton Jump, the lead vehicle, with Alan Elwood to his inside as we get prepared for this restart. Quick yellow just in the first 2 to 3 laps. How long can we stay green this go around? As Jump, major takeoff for himself. It's the battle for third now underway.
And it is, the battle for third is underway because Jump was shot out like a cannon there, being able to control that restart. And we'll see if Elwood looks to continue to defend here, because the 8 Noah still looks like he might have some opportunity here to look to the inside with the draft on the back straightaway. He's just got to stay in line for the time being as it is single file all the way back to around the 7th position of Jesse Newsom, who's the first truck on the outside.
Newsom dusting out the outside lane, trying to get by Malik Kuntz. Also following the 71's going to be the 74 of Nick Crawford. Then behind them, the battling outside of the top 10 is hot and heavy. It's 2 to 3 wide. It's almost peaking to 4 wide with the battling around 16th place. As Logan Brakey, who qualified well inside of our top 10, he is now faltering outside of our top 15, almost outside of the top 20 with how quick he's falling backwards as he continues to get stuck in the middle, and there's just no confidence getting the throttle as Brakey now back to 19th position.
Oh, it's so tough for Logan. Had such a good qualifying run there in 8th, and like you said, just dropping back through the middle of the pack and kind of getting put in the sucker hole, so to say, because it just couldn't make things work there, and now going to have to try to maybe find his footing back here and try to find a way back forward, because you know it's tough to pass. We see how it gets as the runs go on. It is very much follow the leader. So Brakey giving up that track position, that could be critical for the rest of his night. But right now, trying to fight back on the outside here, just not enough grip right now.
I want to be seeing John Forbes in the 11 trying to make pass on the inside, one of our bigger movers so far here tonight, as well as Vincent Sora, and also seeing the 10 of Ryan Ferraro trying to find space to get around this 29 machine. Now Brakey's back outside of the top 20, but inside of the top 20, we're seeing a couple of more other actions starting to ramp up. Again, the battle for the lead kind of over, but Trenton Jump has over a half a second gap for himself. But the battle for 5th, that is where the true action is starting to ramp up as Jesse Newsom, Malik Kuntz, they find the way to split the 8 machine and Noah Steele and hold him at the 8. As at this moment, Nick Crawford settling in, just watching the battles, trying to make the outside lane work. And gotta say, Zach, the outside looks to be the preferred place to go if you want to go forward. The inside seems to be where you're trying to just calm down at the moment.
Yeah, it always seems to be that way. The outside is always, they had a truck farther back getting to the outside wall. I think that was Ethan Smith in the 0-0. So hard hit off a 2 for him. He's going to lose a few spots and drop back right there to the 20th position now, as he's going to have the 10 of Ferraro looking to his inside as Vincent Sora was able to make the pass on him. But man, oh man, he got into it pretty decently hard, but I looked at the side of the truck and it doesn't seem to be too bad. So Ethan's luckily able to keep this truck going.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little bit loose off the exit of turn 2, got tapped by the 45 of Justin Smith while counter steering, and that's just what shipped him out into the outside wall. So we're hoping for Ethan Smith to get that damage, if there is any damage, recovered and fixed. Otherwise, hope that he can continue to race on, even with the issues that he's dealing with. Other drivers up front taking a different approach than others. Seeing some big moves from the 71 of Jesse Newsom. The 71 up to 3rd place now, getting by Alan Elwood as well as Danny Ware, as those 2 drivers from Elwood Design Esports are just running the inside, letting the race come to them, and it looks like there is no pressure to really fight for those lead positions. It's wait for how this long run might progress. Also have an update on the 17 of Mason Cassidy. He has officially called it a night. You hate to see that. Again, was not able to take the green, so no points for the 17 here tonight. He might try to take provisionals, but Zach, I want your thoughts on the 4 and the 35. I mean, they're just giving up positions for free and time, as now they're over a second back from Trenton Jump.
They're definitely taking like the classical Homestead approach, you know, back in the days where we would save the tire and really, just really try to run the bottom and be very, very smooth while, you see someone like a Justin Newsom from 10th to 3rd. We'll see if he pays the price, but from the past few times we've been to Homestead and since this, latest few updates we got this truck, that hasn't been the strategy it's won most of the times here at ISRC. It's been that, Jesse Newsom strategy of coming from farther back and then it's getting that track position and holding on and fighting with the cleaner air that you have farther forward. So we'll see how it works out for the Elwood Designs, esports team there. We'll see if they can make their way back forward. But it's tough to be just giving up positions, thinking it'll come back to you, because if you give up a position very easily, a lot of times you catch that person, they don't repay that favor. They make it very tough when you come back around.
They certainly do make it tough, and battling tough on the outside. 98 of Isaac Shelley currently trying to make his way forward. And that white, teal, and black machine ripping the top and hoping for the best. Is in front of him. He's currently got Justin Sipes in the 82. Now ripping the top completely. It's going to be seeing Joshua Kanata in the 16 as he's got pressure behind, and this is the driver to watch out for is John Forbes. Why not try 4 wide down into turn number 3? Forbes forcing the issue and now going to be staying 4 wide, and this is just battling happening for 13th place, and John Forbes doesn't want to wait. The big move almost rewarded. We still stay 4 wide, now heading down into turn number 1. Zach, somehow they keep it together as Garcia backs out, and that's a smart move by the 50 machine.
Smart move by Garcia, but great job by everybody. Like you said, they kept it 4 wide for a whole quarter and almost half a straightaway. So you don't normally see that last too long. Normally you get 4 wide for those little quick moments, but excellent job by all of them. And John Forbes says, I went out in all of it. And same for Joshua Kanata, because they two come out on top of everybody.
Take the big jump, take the position, and move forward as the 11 continues on his charge. Vincent Sora also trying to stay in the tire tracks on the inside, running the white line. We're seeing the 15 taking a little bit of a slower approach as John Forbes, the aggression that we've seen so many seasons in a row. This is what's allowed the 11 to be a 3-time champion and go back to back to back and trying to get back into championship form again. Now, we don't know if John Forbes is going to continue to run a full schedule this season or if he's going to go part-time, but I mean, if he's making moves like that, watch out. This 11 who started in the back is making some massive charges as he's going to stick it 3 wide as Vincent Sora now putting the pressure on the 11 as the championship duel from last season. They want to continue the fight back and forth.
This is awesome to see. We know those two so excellent always when it comes to battling each other. And Forbes, I mean, his performances at Homestead speak for themselves. If you folks have never seen this man perform here in a truck here, it is immaculate. He has been so dominant when it comes to this race. So that's why I was really excited to see him start out back, just to see how could he, work his way forward, just because we know it is difficult. It's not an easy task to do. But Vincent Sora and himself, they've been putting on quite the show, working their way through about half the field already.
The Brown crew is out there rooting on Joshua Stovall, who finds himself currently 7th place, and put pressure on our pole sitter of Alan Elwood for 6th position. And seeing everyone picking and choosing outside, inside, where can you go? As all, we keep our camera on this battle. Do want to just give a little bit of a report on drivers further on back. Ethan Smith did get into the outside wall about 3 laps ago, forcing himself now to be all the way down to 29th position. And Zach, Logan Brakey caught involved in that first initial wreck. He is still falling quickly. He is now down to 31st, last driver really of the lead pack, and he is really falling off the pace. Logan needs a caution bad to fix whatever damage he's dealing with.
Yeah, that right there, I was looking at that too, Sam, and his pace is just 3 to 4 tenths off of what the leaders are, and that's just not going to cut it here. You got to stay on pace, because this is very much a pack race in itself. You got to stay with that pack up front, and being about 7 seconds back from that lead, that is going to be tough for Brakey to make this back up. He's catching Smith, but you can see our pack up here, they're way ahead of that grouping, so it's definitely surprising to see that from Brakey, but we'll see if he can recover here for later in the race. Has definitely shown the speed in qualifying. You just got to find something here in this race.
We got some fans for the Nico Garcia driver who was caught up in her first wreck back at lap 3. Currently 78 runs back in 26th as his recovery run currently has Tyler Dangler in front of him. But even with that spin out, got the damage repaired, got back out on track. Now it's just be patient and see how this race comes to the 78, as well as Richard Thomas, who found himself right in front of the 78 machine with a penalty here tonight. Had to start all the way at the end of the line. And drivers taking a patient approach further on back. And the main reason you might be taking more of a patient approach, you might be thinking about saving fuel. Zach, the window I was given was around 50 laps of fuel. And these drivers, if you're saving now, might be able to stretch it out and turn this race into a 2-stop instead of a weird 3-stop splash and go later on.
Very interesting. Yeah, that, with that factor in there, Sam, that makes me even more question why a few drivers maybe out back maybe didn't come down and just at least top off. I know it was, a lap, 2, 3 laps there that you would have got maybe at most on everybody. But those could be what you need. I mean, you saved a little bit of the extra difference. That extra few laps could be the difference to keep the speed up. As look at this battle in 3 wide we see all night long. Continues on as the 37er, Richard Thomas, trying to find his way forward from his EOL penalty. Same with his teammate Garcia coming through after that spin. But fuel could be a big strategy here, Sam. That's interesting with it being about 50 laps, because 160 laps, that makes it a very, very interesting window.
Yeah, I know for some of the drivers that I've ever raced with ISRC truck drivers, that when they saw that length that these trucks were going to be going, they said, this feels like it's longer than the actual truck series when they come to Homestead. So it's just the length of this race a little bit longer, put more strain, more fatigue later on in this race, and it also changes up the strategy a lot more of making it a quick bang bang. We know it's a 2-stop race to other shenanigans could we see later on of this race, potentially turning into a fuel mileage run. But we got to move up to the battle for second place, because Alan Elwood talked about how he was backing off on pace. Well, he is charged forward back to second is the 4 machine. Now he's still about a second and a half off of Trenton Jump, but all that time, all the tires saved up, he's finally gotten some clean air, and now it's time to see what the true pace is. 27 laps later into this run. It's been about 22 laps of green flag racing on these tires, and we'll see what the 4 has as we see these next couple of laps.
It's super impressive to see. I mean, it was only a couple laps ago he was in 6th, so it just shows you the pace that the 4 has in his truck. We'll see if it's enough to run Trenton Jump down. I can see the delta is slowly climbing down, and that time there was about, it was exactly 0.3 of a second difference between our top 2. So Elwood flying at the moment.
Flying right now, but is Trenton Jump now trying to back off his pace, just save a little bit by the time the 4 catches him, as seen off the front end of the 4. There's the dot. There's our leader of Trenton Jump. He's been all on his own for most of this race. The distance got cut down about 0.9 seconds. Then gapped back out, and Trenton Jump just trying to continue to hold this lead. Behind this 4, though, things are getting a little bit mixy, and the reason why, it's Newsom as well as Eric Stamp. They are being bullied right now. The 53 has been staying on the outside, but the handling has been drifting away. Newsom's handling has been fading, and they've been just stuck being side by side and forced 3 wide for the past 3 to 4 laps. And finally cleared is Newsom, as Stamp looks like he might be stumbling to go backwards. With this 71, again, he shows good pace, and then the exit of 4 snaps loose, and scaring Ware there for a second off of third 4.
Ooh, it definitely did. Yeah, these guys are starting to struggle now a little bit. So seeing some of the tire wear kicking, and look, here comes Joshua Stovall in the 42. He's able to work up the inside of Eric Stamp. He's going to try to take over that 7th position, but the outside is very, very good for defending. We've seen how big of runs you can get off that top side, and was able to defend that in the 53 machine. So he holds on for the time being, but you can see Ware a lot quicker, I think, than this 71 right now, but just can't find his way around, because last time had a little bit of a scare from sliding.
And I know for Danny Ware, he was trying to stay attached with Alan Elwood. Didn't work out as well as he wanted, as we now stick a camera on Joshua Stovall, and seeing off his spoiler looking forward, how he's been ripping the top and moving forward. Currently, this 42 up just 5 positions from where he started, as he gets by Eric Stamp. And now officially into 7th position. But I know the Brown crew always love to see how Stovall is progressing as a driver each and every week. The mile-and-a-half program was very quick last season, just didn't have the finishes that he would hope for. I know here tonight, this has been some great pace to be seen so far.
It's been fun to watch. Here's now, look at this, John Forbes making an appearance already, up here to 8th. They're going to be on the back bumper of Stovall and Sora not too far behind. Those two have been really slicing their way through the field. I've been watching the lap times from very, very strong lap times, even while in this traffic here racing everybody. So I think you could count on the 11 and the 15 to be up there at some point battling for a top 3 position here, I think, before we come to even the first pit stops.
Now, here's an interesting note, Zach. Is it a 2-stop race or a 3-stop race? The only driver going for a 3-stop looking to run is Joshua Kanata, first driver to make a green flag pit stop. He is currently 1 lap down as he's leaving pit road currently. And as long as there's no caution, this could work out. It's talking about caution. Watch out, Michael Miller. No number on the side, but that white and red machine, big wiggle for himself as getting passed by last week's winner of Jarrett Talmadge. This is around 16th, 17th place where we're seeing this battle. As on the outer groove, it's Isaac Shelley working the top and almost clipped his. Those are those worrisome moments where if drivers don't have the right call out, accidentally turn somebody, but Miller clean. And also seeing the Dale Sr. throwback schemes. That's the 3 of Thomas Green trying to roll his way forward.
Yeah, they are definitely trying to find their way forward. And I tell you who has found their way forward. It is the 4 truck of Alan Elwood. He has found his way to almost the back bumper of Trenton Jump. He's been about 3/10 at times quicker than him, and at that time was about 2/10. We'll see what Elwood can do here. Down in 1-2 is going to go up against the wall to find the momentum here and really see if he can use that draft here. And look at this, already having a big run here coming off the exit. The draft's only going to pull him faster. He's going to be alongside here already.
I mean, it might be a clean pass before they even enter the corner, as he's going to see the 4 sliding it down, going for the dive bomb move. But Trent Jump hits the top, stays close to the outside wall. He's looking for his own run to keep the lead and keep a nose ahead. They'll stay side by side, drag racing to the line. Another driver going to be entering pit road. That's Justin Smith and Ethan Smith going to be getting coverage for themselves on repairs. But up high is still Jump, but will he have the same run that we saw Elwood have before, as they'll continue to stay side by side?
Wow, what a battle here. The outside looking to be very much a pivotal strength to find here, because Jump is able to utilize that. He hadn't had the pace to really keep the 4 back, but the outside has just been enough, and the 4 able to clear. He's clear here now, but he's being very, very gracious to that 46. He could have probably slid up immediately, closed the door a little bit earlier, but Elwood racing very respectable right there, and I think showing it's still early. He's not going to do anything crazy.
I mean, showing the experience for the 4. Might be a rookie in this series, but has ran in a lot of other leagues on iRacing, has a lot of experience coming into the ISRC Truck Series, was expected to be one of the drivers to watch out for in his rookie campaign. And Alan Elwood being patient, being rewarded, but these drivers do have to be careful. They continue this battle as Jump grazes the wall. The 46, you do not want to be getting those types of taps, and that kills all his momentum. That chance of a crossover move might be snuffed out, and just because the 4 moved in front of the 46, I think he might have lost a little bit of that front end, and that's what shipped him off into the wall. Speaking of the wall, there's the 24, the 71, grazing it through the center of the corner.
I mean, they are literally running as high as you possibly can run on this racetrack. Look at Fonseca here looking to the inside. Fonseca's done a great job up from 15th. We talked about Forbes and Vincent Sort climbing their way through the field. This 24 has done an excellent job. He's a little loose there underneath the 35, and I think not going to be able to complete that pass as the 35 going to have the moment on the outside. But here comes the 11 and the 15 now. This is going to be a great little battle between this group, as you got Nick Crawford leading all this.
Nick Crawford, he has been known in the past here at Homestead to have a fantastic long run pace, but with the ways that iRacing has changed up the aerodynamics, the tire wear, I think for the 74, he's just trying to stall out currently as he continues to watch the battling 35 of Ware go to the inside and trying to make this move work for himself. John Forbes, Vincent Sora into the mix as we are closing in on lap 40. these drivers are now going to be in the mentality of pit road and stops. When do you want to make the stop? Are you making the choice of a 3-stop or a 2-stop here this evening? As 3 wide battling for 3rd place as the squeeze, the conquer. It's Nick Crawford going to be for 3rd.
Nick Crawford, yeah, trying to hold on as much as he can here as Ware looked to that inside, but now that's opened the door for the 11 of Forbes. Here comes the 15 of Vincent Sora. I mean, they've pretty much been at the hip this whole time, and it's been impressive to watch them move through, but it's getting tougher the farther they get up here. It is going to get harder and harder, but I think Forbes, just too much grip around the outside here. He's going to quickly make the pass on the 74, and John Forbes up to the top 3 before pit stops happen. And I think pit road could get very busy here soon, Sam. I think the 3-stopper is going to be what most people pull off here.
I mean, we're expecting a lot of drivers going to be entering pit road. That last lap was Ryan Ferraro. How many more will enter this go around? Keeping an eye out on drivers' text chats as well, on audio chats. Those are ways that drivers can communicate with one another in person and live on saying, hey, we're going to go into pit road now. A lot of drivers like to inform one another so they don't run into each other off the exit turn 4, but some like to be sneaky. They say nothing and just drop to pit road. We'll see if that action happens as 3 wide once again. It's Nick Crawford being swallowed up and spit out as he goes down to 6th place, but Vincent Sora and Ware go back and forth, and the 15 and the 11 continue their march forward, now up to 3rd and 4th together.
What an excellent drive from those two. Yeah, Forbes has been able to put a little bit of time in between him and Vincent here because Vincent had a little bit more trouble getting to the outside there, but he finally does get that done. And so up to 3rd and 4th for those two as they've marched their way through. Got to give credit to Danny Cochran. He's back there now actually to the inside of the 24. The 2 has been following him through also, not too far behind. So Cochran's showing great speed, and he's shown in the past Homestead to be one of his better tracks in this truck series.
Yeah, he's been one of those drivers that's had a good chance of great finishes in the past, yet to win at this course. John Forbes has won here twice. Mark Whitley has won here twice. GT Rosari grabbed his first win back in season 2, and Cedric Hunter with the fantastic last corner, last lap pass back in season 3. For the last, I would say, 4 races here, it has been pure dominance of whoever is up front usually stays there. If you lead the most laps, you are winning the race. The last 4 races has been that stat. And Alan Elwood and Trent Jump are the 2 that are marching for that statistic to continue on. As looking at the drivers in the middle of this pack, looking back from Joshua Stovall in the 42, seeing the likes of last week's winner of Jared Talmadge, again, another driver who started all the way back in last place, decided not to qualify, and he's now up to 13th, battling for 12th now with this pass to the inside groove.
That's huge for him too. He's been marching his way, and it just shows you. Actually, I'm kind of surprised to see how much passing we've had. We've seen the last few times it's just not really formulated for people, but tonight I think with so many people, having to start from the rear, it's really set up a lot of passing opportunities, and everybody even struggling a little bit for Ware. And look, here comes the pit stops on lap 45, and this is what's happening. 3-stopper looks to be in fruition for these drivers.
And these drivers have to slow down to 50 miles per hour, and it's you saw there a lot of wiggles, trusting your brakes that you can slow down in time. The other march, make sure you get into your box, you don't overshoot it, you have to throw it in reverse and back up. All 3 of those drivers, Nick Crawford, Newsom, and Fonseca, clean entry and pit stop entry for themselves. They'll continue on. John Forbes also made a pit stop with Dakota Moniz. Ryan Ferraro, Justin Forbes, Ethan Smith, all already made their stops prior, as well for Joshua Kanata, who went with the extreme early stop for the 16, as he stopped 14 laps ago, and he's been rewarded to have a decent gap over John Forbes, about 5.5 seconds, but he's going to be ran down quickly until Kanata needs to make another stop in the next 20 laps. Rest of the field, though, this is that awkward timing of with drivers being on fresh tires, others on old. You got to be careful around one another because the speed difference, the closing rate, Zach, they are massive that we're seeing right now.
Oh, it is huge. I mean, the difference in speed from a brand new set of tires to an old set is almost 2 seconds for some people. So it is a huge closing rate when you're on those fresher tires and coming up to someone on old tires. So A lot of drivers electing to do that, and it looks like the 3-stop is what most people are electing to do. If you're going to be doing a 2-stop, in my opinion, especially with the caution, you're going to want at least to get to lap 55. And, you know, splitting this up, that would allow you to be a little bit easier and be able to go at least 52 laps on one of the runs instead of having to go, you know, 53, 53, 54. So it's possible. I think we could see some people doing it, but we'll see what is faster, the new tires, because of how much fall off there is. I think maybe the 3-stop will just be overall quicker.
The only driver that pitted under our one and only caution so far is that 78 machine of Nico Garcia. Nico came into pit road, saw how much damage was applied after being spun around off the nose of Logan Brakey, and topped off on fuel, got the damage repair done, and currently runs in 6th place. But with the closing rate of the rest of the field, I mean, this is coming up to the zone where a lot of these drivers, we were expecting pit stops to happen this lap or the next if you did not pit during our, if you haven't pitted like Nico. So looking at the drivers inside of our top 14, these next 2 laps could be critical of when you decide to go into pit road.
I think it really will. This is going to be interesting to see how it especially all shakes out, because, you know, John Forbes, he's been out there for now 4 laps going on. I think technically he would cycle, actually no, sorry, Joshua Kanata would cycle to the lead here once pit stops go through. John Forbes has got about 4 seconds up to him, so we'll see how long it takes for him to catch up to Kanata. But Kanata definitely right now, you know, very much on the very aggressive 3-stop.
Going for the early stop, and it's been rewarded to have that top position of all those that have pitted so far. But we know Kanata will be caught at some point. The question is, will he be caught before he makes the next stop, or will he be all right where he lies currently? Looking at the drivers further up ahead, Alan Elwood's got a pretty good, decent gap. He's at about 1.4 seconds over Trenton Jump. And Jump's dealing with Noah Steele, dealing with a couple of other drivers around him. As you're seeing the likes of Willie Kuntz trying to find their way forward, but the mixed match of drivers on old tires and new, you're just hoping that if you do get caught by someone who's got new tires, they pass you on the outside so you can have that clean entry into pit road. As Michael Miller makes his stop, but gotta say, Zach, I think a lot of these drivers, they are marching for that zone to try to stretch it out to 55. And if you primarily were focusing on fuel saving, even at the time of that caution, you could stretch it out. It's just gonna be a lot of work on your end on the amount of fuel you're saving right now and time you're giving up.
Yeah, definitely. So the time given up is the big thing. I think, you know, you're looking at some of these guys on new tires running 33 threes out there. Leaders running about a 35 flat, and that's, you know, some of the quickest times on the old set of tires right now. So it is definitely a big loss of time. But I mean, if you look at it, Elwood, I mean, still out there right now, complete lap 54. The more laps these guys can go out here and complete to, the more buffer it gives them to be able to, you know, really go on those next runs. They won't really have to save, and I think that is the critical thing with this strategy. If you got to save and really give up tons of amount of time, it's not going to work. But I think, you know, as I think Elwood's coming down, yeah, slowing down here, he's going to bring in the pit road. So he's going to complete 54 laps on this tank. Same for Trenton Jump. And they are running the top, so that tells me you can get a little bit more out of this. Nico Garcia, he's going to actually come down this time too, even though he came down pit road. So we're seeing most of the drivers continue to come to pit road, but it's Noah Steele who's staying out, Sam.
And Noah had no way of going into pit road. He was being passed at that time on the inside by both Jarrett Talmadge and Ethan Smith. So the 8 forced to go an extra lap. Also, with that extra lap, I believe he was able to lead that lap. So that's a bonus point for the 8 machine that it can carry on into the rest of this regular season to help them go for that playoff push. Justin Sipes still out there on track. Sipes just making the call over the radio that he's thinking about pit road. Also seeing if Eric Stamp might stay out for an extra lap. I mean, Stamp's first career win all the way back in season 2 was a fuel mileage race where he won at Atlanta. We'll see if he can find maybe a little bit of extra pace as drivers fighting their way into pit road and staying out for another lap. It's Cody Smith in the 7 and Logan Brakey in the 29.
It's very good for them. For, you know, that makes this even more easy. You know, they'll going around another lap here that's going to allow them to be able to go 52 laps on one of the runs, and I think that makes it a lot easier for these drivers to make. So we'll see how it works out. I don't think this is again going to be a winning strategy because I'm looking at the times. Forbes is only 5 seconds behind Brakey after he's coming to pit road, but this could be a a strategy that gets them a decent finish still.
Trying to figure out what exactly happened as Ethan Smith looks like he had to make an emergency stop into pit road and caught speeding, had to tow to pit road, and Smith's night might have just gone from bad to worse as he had to take a tow, has on top of that a speeding penalty. So the 00 is going to go multiple laps down on top of the already multiple laps that he was dealing with. That is a just melting fall apart moment for the 00. You hate to see that for himself so far. Other drivers out on track, all the pit stops being made. It's John Forbes leading the charge, and with having the new partnership, the new cameras from Whiplash Sim Cams, we want to say thank you so much for partnering with us in our new sponsor segment. Your Whiplash Sim Cam's biggest mover is currently the 11 of John Forbes, up 28 spots from where he started all the way back in 29th. Other drivers that could try to beat out the 11 currently. Watch out for Vincent Sora, also Danny Cochran, and also the likes of Thomas Green. They're all eligible for that biggest mover because they all started in last place, and we know they're going to be up front at the end of the night.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's a great job by all of those drivers to really climb their way through. And Forbes, by no surprise, up front here still at Homestead in an 11 machine ISRC. That is something I think we've said plenty of times before. He continues to prove that this is one of his best race circuits on the surface. And I tell you what, I look back to Elwood back in the 13th position right now. He's about 11 seconds behind Forbes, and he only went 54 laps there. I don't expect him to be able to make the strategy fully work for a two-stop unless he's able to do the fuel every single time they make that amount. But they had a caution to really help him get there this time. I think it's just gonna be much more tough.
Do we see a late caution, or do we keep it clean and green? That's gonna be a lot of questions for us to continue to watch as we've got still 100 laps to go. Our first green flag pit stop is in the books, and for us, perfect time to take a quick little break as drivers are trying to solidify their pit stop strategies. 2 stops, 3 stops, which one is the best for you? We'll find out which one is the money, position, and also strategy as you're watching the Pinkhorn 400 at Homestead for the ISRC. Larry, our production, wait, hold on, take it back, caution flag is out. We got an issue, and it's the 44 spinning out. Caution flag is out here tonight. And it's going to be the 44 of Mark Labertone, excuse me, spun off the nose of the 2 of Danny Cochran as we were just about to go commercial break. Just mistimed on when they were going to be making the pass, and the 44 gets spun off the nose of the 2 here off the exit turn 2. You see Danny Cochran just squeezes up, 44 comes down, and away the 44 goes to bring out this yellow, and we reset them, we stack them back up, and well, long green flag strategies, throw it out the window. We might just have a one-stop from here on out because these drivers are going to be in that one-stop zone as there's the contact, the spin, and just like that, our caution right when we were going to go to commercial break. Well, I guess we're going to mistime it for a little bit here to a quick second. As you saw the spin, everyone else going to come into pit road, tires, fuel, get back out there. As for us, though, now we'll take our commercial break. Sorry about that, as got the caution just wanting to stop us right as we were about to go. Instead, we'll go right now. You won't miss a thing as they will be under yellow, and we come back for more green flag action as your ISRC Lyria Production Truck Series race. Crazy to see. We're 2 races in, and drama is already amounting. No more worries of which strategy was right. Everyone's back on the same as we are going to be sending it to a commercial break. We will be back right after this for more of the Pinkhorn 400. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to more of the ISRC Layer Productions Truck Series, race number 2 of season 8, as we are back to action of our last caution, the incident between Mark Labertone and Danny Cochran. Going to get the 44 spun around, but we are back to green flag racing. We've lost Ethan Smith. He's officially called it a night, joining Mason Cassidy, who wasn't able to take the green. But a few drivers up front having a big scare, and it's Eric Stamp spun around on the backstretch. No caution is thrown, but the 53 from battling inside of our top 5 now to 29th as he finally gets rolling. But Stamp's what was looking like a great night, throw it away. He needs a caution bad.
That was very similar to the Nico Garcia incident. The 24 was on the wall running the corner exit, and you can see right here when they come off the exit here, the 24 is going to be pretty close up there, maybe a little bit loose, and it's going to kind of scare the 53 maybe a little bit, and that's going to shoot him down the track with his big numbers.
Big numbers. At least he has numbers on the side. That was asked to Eric Stamp after not having them last week. As he's back to racing action, still on the lead lap is the 53, but he'll need a caution. Up front, though, changing the lead, changing guard. It's Ollie Fonseca leading the way. It's Alan Elwood going back to the patient approach. We saw how well it helped out the 4 in the later run. After about 20 laps, that's when his strength really popped in. Ollie Fonseca, Nick Crawford, though, they say, let's go forward. Let's get this 4 behind us and maybe get some more spacing before he can catch up.
Interesting situation too here is, with that caution coming out, Elwood, Noah Steele, and I believe it was Cody Reed. Yeah, they all stayed out on the same set of tires that they took. They stayed out, on the green flags run there for so long that they elected just not to come down. And if this goes fully green, they could pay for that a little bit. Elwood's been very strong in the long run, but I think that difference in tires will be hard to overcome.
And these drivers did have 4 sets of tires in pit road to work with here tonight. Most of the field has already used 2 sets. Like I said, with Elwood as well as Cody Reed and a few others deciding not to take that set on this last caution. They still have 3 to work with for the rest of this race. So if there's a lot of cautions that blossom up later on, they could be rewarded. But currently right now, those that have fresher tires are trying to make the pressuring move to go forward, as John Forbes currently runs in 14th, which Amy did all that hard work to get up front, now has to re-emerge back up there as he's in the mix of all this traffic.
Right in the mix of this traffic here, and lost a little bit of track position in all of this situation there, but we'll see how he can gather it back up. And right now looks to be kind of just fighting for everything he can, because at one point it was him and Vincent Sora just kind of tied to the hip. Vincent Sora now actually just saying he's up to 3rd, so Forbes has kind of lost touch to that, and I think that could make this all very, very interesting if we keep this race green.
Seeing some of those bigger movers now going to be transferred over to Thomas Green, up 29 spots. He's trying to get by Noah Steele. You see that 3 machine of Thomas Green right on the back bumper of Vincent Sora, and Sora Green both been trying to move forward together. See Joshua Kanata now able to get by Elwood. Elwood now in pressure of losing more spots. And for Elwood, when he did that first strategy in the long green flag run, he fell back to around 7th and 8th, then made the emergence going forward. But it took a while before he dropped this far back. I know he's on older tires, but Zach, the patient approach is saving what he's got right now. I'm curious on how far back he's going to feel comfortable getting in this traffic, because there's some competition that's passing him that we're starting to run down Elwood late in that run.
Yeah, that's the big I think concern for him, and it kind of becomes very, very tough, because he wants to kind of do the similar thing that he did the first run, to give up a little bit on the front end of the run to make his way back forward. But with the difference in tires and the delta there, it's just going to be a lot more give up, in my opinion, here at the beginning than what you're going to get in return because of how much track position you're going to lose. So we'll see how Elwood can work his way through this, but the drivers that have stayed out in those tires, the only one to hang on right now is Noah Steele up in 5th, as it seems like he's felt like keeping that track position is going to be the more key thing than trying to make up for the difference in tires.
Now out in chat, Lenny Reed, Cody Reed's dad, hoping for this 25 to start moving forward, as Cody started back in 20th. He's inside of our top 15, but stuck in the middle of some very chaotic driving as drivers trying to find some footing on how to move forward. The likes of Ryan Ferraro, Sipes, as well as Samuel Garcia, and seeing now the emergence of Richard Thomas, which Thomas is a driver that we saw trying to make his way forward. Qualified 5th, got an EOL penalty after reckless driving at the end of last week's race, so had to start at the end of the line. And he did not try to push through traffic as quickly as we saw some of our other competitions, such as Vincent Sora, John Force, Thomas Green. He kind of settled in the back and just let the other drivers fall to him as their tire wear fell apart. 37 looks like the patient approach will stay in place. Same with Nico Garcia, as the Elwood Design Esports team drivers are slowly going forward, 16th and 17th currently.
We'll see how their progress continues for the rest of the night, but definitely looking good for them at the time being. As you can see his teammate there, Elwood, still dropping back on the outside there, and just that tire difference, man, is just making up too much of a difference here. He's just not able to keep the same track position while saving like he wanted to from the first run. So we'll see what he can make back up here if we stay green, but that does concern me with how much he's having to give up here.
And looking at some of these front runners, one driver that's going to get a lot of knowledge that I think he needs to know now, Trent Jump, currently runs in 5th place, just getting by Noah Steele. And for Trent Jump, I mean, being up front, the only driver that got by him was Elwood. And the 46 finally getting knowledge of what it's like to drive in traffic and try to make some passes, which, you know, for later on in this race, as we're just finishing up the first half of this run, it's going to be important to get that knowledge of how is the dirty air going to affect you, at least at this point of the race.
It definitely is good to know. You know, if you've been up front all race long, or at least just been behind one truck, you need to lead to low with a couple trucks ahead of you just to get that feel of, okay, this is what the turbulent air is going to feel like here, and how can I kind of fight and drive through it. So good things to learn here, or, you know, at least halfway through this race. You don't want to be learning that the last 5 laps, because it could be a critical moment that you really need to have already learned to be able to use your knowledge. So we'll see, you know, what trick jump you use from this, but right now I'm seeing some great racing, and it seems like maybe saving a little more this time to have a little bit more later run speed.
Talking about saving, just got the report in chat from the spotter of Joshua Stovall, 42, who runs currently in 28th. Last driver who's really with this lead pack, trying to get damage fixed up. Didn't take tires and just waiting on a caution. It's Joshua Stovall needing that help, and I know Stovall and a couple of other drivers getting into that outside wall during that later run doesn't help you in the later runs of this race, and at least getting that damage fixed up, helpful to get done. Maybe taking a set of tires would have helped minimize some of this damage and staying in the fight instead of being stuck in this position where you're relying on a caution.
That's right, yeah. And I'm starting to question a few others, you know, maybe possibly did that. I mean, I look at the likes of John Forbes. His in the box time was a 14.7. So he was in the box for, you know, for a decent bit, but I don't know if he put a set of tires on, because he's back in 26. You know, he's just kind of slowly dropped back. So something very interesting, either playing out here strategy wise, or we're definitely seeing the tire delta just be too much.
I know I always try to go back and rewatch some of the past broadcasts of the ISRC to kind of prep to see what other past trends could we see. I rewatched the season 4 Homestead race, and during that race they had 5 cautions during that run. Mark Whitley ultimately took that win, but they had a couple of early cautions as well that popped up, and then some later ones as into the wall. Justin Sipes, Alan Elwood, the 4, as well as the 82, both slow on the outside. I don't know if there was contact between them both, and there was off of turn 4 that just continued into turn 1. Damage for the pole sitter as well as Sipes.
Oh no, that is unfortunate for Elwood there, who in the 4 machine looking so dominant here tonight. But look, you're just going to see loose up ahead for Sipes into the outside wall. The 4 not able to react in time and just going to get into him, and that's going to hurt both of those trucks very much. I mean, the 4 is going to be on pit road, same for the 82, and that is going to ruin both their nights.
Required damage flags given to both. Black flag with an orange circle. We got a meatball flag, and they're both going to have to get service done. But back to that topic before that incident happened. what I saw in that race with the early cautions, those that took the advantage of taking tires really got rewarded later on in the race. And having the track position, I think taking tires on this last caution would have been critical to just make sure you're with everyone else on strategy-wise. And waiting on banking on a caution later on has never been a traditional thing that works out in the ISRC Truck Series, but there's always that chance of a late 20 lap to go caution. We saw that in those first 4 to 5 seasons of this Truck Series. Who knows? We might see tradition come back, but Justin Sipes has called it a night for the 82. We wait to see officially if the 4 will call it an evening for himself too.
You know, and the other question I have with it, Sam, with them not taking tires, some drivers, it was, you know, with the timing of the yellow, it made it a one stop. And, you know, that would mean you only need one other set of tires after you take that set. So I felt like they had plenty of sets of tires to be able to burn one there. I know a couple guys who ran there long felt bad about just wasting a set, feeling like 10 laps only on them. But sometimes just to stay in the groove and stay in, you know, the sequence of everybody else and have an opportunity, you got to stay on sequence, and it can ruin people's races. I mean, look at Cody Reed right now. He's having to come to pit road. And he's going to have to at least stop another time tonight.
Yeah, and this is way too early. If you're Cody, you had to stretch it out so much further than this, but he only was able to go 31 laps on this run. And now going to get service done with tires, fuel, and there's the caution, though. That might save everything, and it's the 44 once again as he's caught up with Justin Forbes.
Oh, no, this is going to change the whole outlook of this race, because two people are going to be bailed out from this. But, man, and I think Cody Reed there, unfortunately, if anything, maybe hopefully will be the lucky dog. But let's look and see how this all started here. Is the 44 going to pull low down the straightaway here as you see Justin Forbes coming up on him. I'm sure maybe the 44 just steps out sideways here, Sam. Definitely something going to go wrong between these two.
He's sideways, he's drifting, he's trying to hold on, and Justin Forbes, I mean, you're stuck in a position where you're gassing it up off the exit of the corner and just hoping that driver can catch it. Instead, comes down in front of the 97, both make contact. And for the 44, he continues on for Justin Forbes, hard nose damage, and luckily no required damage flag for Justin Forbes. But man, you hate to see that scenario for a driver that's just hanging out in the back and doesn't want to get involved in that incident.
Yeah, that is tough. You know, when someone steps out sideways in front of you like that, it's sometimes easy to not be able to react fast enough to be able to get past him. I mean, like you said, he's in the part of the corner right where he's, you know, really kind of committing back to full throttle, and just a bad timing situation with the 44 stepping out like that.
And for Cody Reed, 25 waits. Will he get the Lucky Dilla Award, which is the Lucky Dog Award for a driver? If you're the first driver one lap down and not involved in the incident, you're able to get the wave around. It looks like it might just be a simple wave around for that 25 machine. Those are drivers that were going around. I believe also Eric Stamp and Justin Smith were also trying to make sure they stayed on the lead lap. But we're going to make the call. It might be just taking a wave around, but Lucky Dilla Award could be given out to this 25 Zach, because we talked about how that pit stop could have ruined his day. Gets the lucky caution. At least he'll take the wave around. Not a lot of wear and tear on these tires, and he'll be at the end of the line, but we know there's speed in this 25 to make the march forward again.
Oh, no, for sure. We know that he'll definitely be marching his way forward here once he gets this wave around. And yeah, I mean, it's good that at least, you know, he's going to really sit back around, because if not, that would have just been, you know, I've had those moments myself as a driver where you're just questioning, why did I not just stay out 1 to 2 laps more? What was the reasoning for that exact lap? And, you know, you can't know in the driver's seat all the time exactly how it's all going to unfold, but sometimes it just feels like everything goes wrong for you. And fortunately for Reed, he's going to be able to get the wave around and get back to that lead lap. Unfortunately, he's going to start from the rear of the field, but we'll see. He's got time here to still work his way through.
We got a couple of drivers coming into pit road to get a little bit of extra damage repair for themselves. Tyler Dangler getting a little bit of extra damage. Logan Brakey, who we talked about earlier, brought out our first caution today. He's able to get more damage repair. Same for the likes of Justin Smith, who's back into pit road. Eric Stamp, Cody Reed lucked out with that caution. Justin Forbes able to get damage repair. But the one big note, John Forbes in pit road for over a minute at time. So he had a lot of damage repair. I think that could have attributed also to why he was falling back. Alan Elwood, our pole sitter, though, his night is officially done. He is called in an evening. You hate to see that for the driver who had some promising pace. Loved the way that he was saving his tires for longer in the run, but was caught up with the issues further back in the field. But up front, it's going to be Thomas Green as well as Ollie Fonseca going to be your top two drivers. The 3 of the 24, well, they're ready to take you to the green for your Pink Horn 400 at Homestead. We're back underway as Green, as well as others, try to follow suit. And it's the inside lane that really took off on that restart.
That did. That inside lane got a great jump now. Vincent Sora up to the back bumper. He's a little bit loose there. He's going to try to slide up in front of Ali Fonseca on the exit here. Down the back straightaway. The 15 is going to cover to the inside. With the 24 looking to his outside. But big moment for Vincent Sora there is the 3 going to check him up a little bit. That's going to allow that 24 to get alongside. And side by side it is for second.
Friends, allies, veterans of this series that have raced so many different seasons, years with one another. And we're seeing Ollie Fonseca trying to find a way to get around Vincent Sora on the outside groove. The 24 wants to take off and go. And Crawford also stay on the outside. And I mean, this is a lot of the veterans of the ISRC Truck Series that are now up front that we've seen lead races for many seasons. Those that have dominated, trying to get in the mixture and change things up, though, as Jesse Newsom back in 8th place. But I mean, Zach, you look at everyone else up front. This is what we've seen for the past couple of seasons here in this truck series.
This is the tried and true right here. These are the guys that have definitely become the veterans of the series here for sure. And it is showing right now early in this season here as they've been able to survive and make their way through. We're going to get to see who's going to be able to capitalize on simple mistakes being made by drivers out there. So strategy sometimes can come back to bite you, and I think a few drivers will be questioning their strategy after tonight.
That is now going to be seeing drivers like Nick Crawford, Danny Cochran just settle in line, but behind, it's around that 8th place spot. Danny Ware, Jesse Newsom, as well as Nico Garcia getting into the mixture. It's fight and go forward as quickly as you can. Fastest lap, give it to the 24 of Ollie Fonseca, but this is where the real racing action is lining up as the 78, who's been patiently waiting for his chance to drive forward, is in the mix on the outside and watching the debut running of Ware. He's making some bold moves, trying to set up the 2 of Danny Cochran.
Get this, almost 3 wide and 78. Thought about it for a moment, but just gonna have to back up the center just to get the run off. But it's gonna be a good run here. He's gonna come to the back bumper of the 2, give him a shove down the straightaway as the 2 races with the 35 there. Danny Ware as the 2 Dannies race side by side, but definitely great to see those 2 working their way into the picture. But definitely side by side action continuing through all throughout, is even farther back to us, some almost 3 wide action there.
Staying low, going to be trying to stay out of the way as much as possible. Going to be the 45 Justin Smith, 4 laps down as after he's gotten some damage to repair. As you might be seeing some of these drivers have to sneak up to the outside as the lap car stays low. They keep their foot on the throttle as we ride on board the 71 of Newsom, as he's having great running. Awesome to see again the debut drivers, the ones that are coming in for their first season, and the rookie of Newsom. I didn't know what to expect from Jesse entering this season, but man, has he really put a showing that he's going to be a driver that's going to be fun to watch moving forward in this season, as he's going to be joining. This is probably one of the stronger rookie classes that we've seen so far.
Oh, definitely, for sure. It's full of a great, tremendous drivers with a ton of talent, and I think they're really going to show out more and more as the season gets on. So we'll see how that all works out, but definitely some great battles there. Look, we talked about Joshua Stovall. Remember before this latest caution, they were waiting for that yellow. They got it. Sam, he's already made his way into the top 15, now fighting Malik Kuntz for top 14.
It was only back in 28th position for a while there. The Brown crew better start. Oh no, Joshua Kanata with the drift, the slide, the hold on and save. What a save by the 16. Ryan Ferrara will be sent off into the outside, but just a little bit too aggressive in front of that 42 and crew, but a big save by the 16.
Definitely an excellent job by the 16 and Joshua Kanata hanging on there. He was hoping for every bit of side force to kick in there to bring that truck back around, but he did an excellent job just to get it back straight and keep it going. Lost some track position, of course, but it could have been much worse. He could have been parked in the outside fence.
Absolutely. A big slide there, a little bit of wear and tear on those tires, a lot of heat built up, but it's behind the 16 where they're really squeezing against one another. That's Isaac Shelley and Logan Breakey going side by side. Michael Miller trying to get back into the fray with that white and red machine. But Logan Breakey, at one moment, we were talking about how he was falling backwards and basically was in last place. Well, inside of the top 20, qualified well, and wants to prove that that speed for qualifying wasn't just a flash in the pan moment, but he's got a chance to be running up front instead of our top 15.
I think breaking immediately off the get-go of the race was just going for a fuel mileage strategy, and I think now as we've seen this strategy kind of tighten up and everybody kind of knows it's a one-stop from here, I think you're going to see him unleash his pace a little bit more. So no surprise to see him going a little bit farther forward, and we could see him challenging maybe for a top 10 here later as this event goes on. But definitely fun to watch how all this unfolds and just how, you know, one caution can change every little trickle of your strategy.
And the mindset switch up for these drivers, because like you said, this is a one stop now. You have to pit one more time before this race is over, but the decision of when you want to pit is kind of wide open for a lot of these drivers. You can stretch it out as far as you want. You can still go for another 40 laps, maybe even 43 more laps, and that would put you in the range of around 18 to 17 laps to go in this race. Or you could split this run in half and think about pitting here in the next, I'd say, 30 to 35 laps. It is really wide open on what decision you can go for.
It really is. The strategy is not very basic here, I guess you could say. You got a wide window for that pit window, so drivers are going to be able to decide really their fate when it comes to that strategy. And you know, we've talked about it a million times. It's never usually that person who pits first or that person who pits last. It's usually someone right in that middle zone who gets it perfect, nails it, and it just seems to be the perfect time, and that goes on to win them the race. It really comes down to that a lot of times. Sometimes pit road is where you win your races, and right now we're having a battle for the lead that can win the race, because right now the 3 of the 24 are side by side.
History of the 3 here at Homestead. In fact, the season 3, that time being ran by Anthony Gaudio, and the historic back and forth between the 3 of Gaudio and Ethan Smith before Cedric Hunter stole on the last lap. I think here tonight, Thomas Green wants to be the driver that takes that 3 to victory lane here at Homestead. Race 2 for season 8. It's been a fun one so far for the Pink Corn 400. And Zach, looking at this field, top 2 are trying to just pull away. Yes, they're battling back and forth. Ollie continues to defend and hold back Thomas Green's attempts to take the lead position. Hasn't worked out yet, but if you're the driver's third on back, I mean, is there one driver, or do you feel like as a whole group, they're all just waiting for the next 10 laps to when they can really surge forward to catch up to these top 2?
I think everybody really from 3rd on to about 8th, 7th, 8th there, they all have pretty much everything, the same strategy in mind. Let's just sit here and ride, wait it out, and we're going to catch up those 2 up front, because, man, oh, man, that was getting a little bit wild. Big block from the 24 and the 3. He had a big run.
Oh, they bump. They tap. They make contact. Thomas Green almost into the outside wall as he gives a massive shunt to the 24 into turn 3. And Ollie holds steady and strong, but Thomas Green almost throwing it away.
That was the reverse bump right there, because the 3 gets into him, but it's him that gets upset by it. It's the 24. He was very stable through all of that. It was really the 3 that got more upset from the contact, but those 2 doing that has brought this other group right in the mix. I mean, they're 3 to almost a half a second quicker than this front 2 right now. This is not going to help their strategy here by battling too hard, but it looks like I think that's going to be the case for the foreseeable future, because Thomas Green, I think, has more pace. The 24 is just going to try everything to keep him back, though.
I mean, that big bump, it hurt both drivers. It cut that distance from 2nd back to 3rd in half, as now Vincent Sora is within a half a second. And, with the little contact, the bumps here and there, and now going to be side by side for the lead position once again. Ali Fonseca might be deciding, you know what, Thomas Green, just take off and go. I say that, though. The 24 continues to fight on the outside. We'll see what type of a run is set up here off the exit of turn 4. But even with the big bump, the big tap, Thomas Green still has great speed for himself to take that lead position. And I'm shocked by that. I thought with how hard of a contact we saw there, that Thomas Green would have grabbed at least some type of front end damage, but he still looks good at this current moment and working the top lane, trying to build back up this lead, but it is gone. Vincent Sora is now there for second place.
That he is. Suarez saw the battling going on. He saw the 3 get around the 24. He is now elected to pick up the pace a little bit. Same for Trent Jump, same for Danny Whereas those 3 seem to have very strong, similar pace on the longer run than the last time. Not surprised to see them kind of grouped up here. Is now the 15 to the inside. Will he be able to make the pass on the 24s? The 24 fades to the outside. He's going to try to find the grip, but he does a big slide. I think this is going to make it easy on the 15 here. He's going to be able to slide up in front of the 24 here on the exit. And now the 46 going to be able to side draft the 24.
Old backs hit set. And now for Ali Fonseca, it's wait for when you need to make the call to go into pit road and try to minimize the amount of track position and time lost to these front runners. Because if you're Ollie, you know the pit stop is your saving grace, and then how do you save the tires for later in this run? Might have pushed a little bit too aggressive to try to fight with Thomas Green. We'll see what type of a strategy is switched up as we are inside of the zone where drivers could, if they wanted to, pit and they could make it to the end here, but you know that strategy is just a little bit too early to throw away your tires. But Zach, if you are the drivers out there on track, is where dives it down low on Ollie Fonseca. If you're one of the front runners moving forward, or if you're Ollie falling back, is there a zone that you feel like is the time to go into pit road, or do you try to stretch it out as long as possible and bank on that caution that we've seen come out during a pit cycle?
Yeah, that's a good question, Sam. He's seeming to be struggling pretty hard right now. I think he might have to go on the aggressive side of the strategy. I mean, right now, they're 21 laps in. If he was to pit here sometime soon, that's still about 50 laps to go. So he's going to have to manage those tires better for the next run if he does get aggressive. But you might just see him here have to cool him down. Sometimes that's all it takes is a few, 5-6 laps to cool stuff down to bring it back. But you just can't continue to, try to get too much out of them because they'll really start to hurt you. And I think the 24 struggling here is now the 2 and that 35 trying to find their way around.
Danny Cochran over the radio apologizing to Ollie as he was trying to give a good bump on the straightaway just a little bit too soon. The Larry R Productions crew drivers trying to find a way to get around one another as the 2 and the 24. As Ware finally clears, but let's go 3 wide. A big run for Ollie Fonseca, not able to get to that outside quarter panel of Ware, but it does set up for Danny Cochran in a moment where Ware had to look in his mirror, and the 2 took advantage. They'll make the pass back into 6th place.
Great pass from Danny there to slide up into that 6th spot. Now he's going to try to close up that gap to the 27 on Jared Tommins with Nick Crawford and them up there and not allow them to get too far ahead. But the 2 showing good, strong pace here and able to work his way forward. As you can see, some drivers, the 46, he's already took his talents to the top of the wall there as he's trying to find the paces. Now Vincent Sora to the inside of Thomas Green. He's trying to find the way to the lead of this race.
As Vincent Sora, Thomas Green will be side by side. Trent Jump, who runs in 3rd, really just watching the battle happening back and forth. Crossover move as the 3 goes to the inside, trying to go with the dive bomb move to keep this position. Vincent Sora, he keeps his foot in the throttle. They'll stay equal through the corner. The big slide and pinch by the 15. He is not allowing the 3 to get into the throttle, and there's the advantage for Vincent Sora. Clear and pull away. Put the rockets on. Sora is finally clear.
Vincent Sora where he wants to be, Sam, out front in the clean air, and he's going to try to open up that gap. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for Vincent Sora. Open up as big a gap as you can here before these pit stops start to transpire. That will really help out your cause to make your final run of your race a little bit less stressful. As Jump here using all the racetrack trying to catch up to these 2 ahead of him. He was quicker than Thomas Green that last time by 2/10. So this 46, don't count him out.
Seeger with this camera from Trent Jump, how close he's getting to that outside wall, basically grazing it even on the middle of the back stretch, trying to find ways to maximize the speed on the straightaways, just ramping up, keeping momentum, the big risk off of the exit turn 4, the sliding action that these vehicles just want to push out and do. But as we were watching that battle, some drivers in the middle of the field making decisions, and it's wreck spinning out happening as Malik Coots and others collected off the exit of turn number 4. This is the caution. No green flag pit stop needed. We will see ourselves re-racked and restacked for another restart.
Man, this changes up the whole landscape once again here. And it's going to help a few drivers out here. But let's see what happens. It looks like Fonseca there. A little bit of a slow up there on the exit, but I think this is going to happen farther down here as the 8 now with the 77 all over his back bumper. Going to go to the corner. Oh, there's going to get to the 24. Yeah.
And then Ollie just trying to save it, and everyone else not able to react or know that he's going to be this slow, and they just chain reaction once again. And Ollie keeps the nose straight. He gets tapped multiple times. But Malik Kuntz and others get involved, and with Malik not holding the brake, it causes more drivers to have some bizarre reactions to get around. And that has got to be frustrating for the rest of the field to watch the 77, who's, you know, frustrated in the moment, but you'd love to see the 77, instead of trying to do what we call a J-turn while traffic is heading in his direction, to just hold the brake and let everyone react around him. But here's the incident once again. Gets into Ollie, gets hit by side, just nowhere to go. Michael Miller sent to the outside wall, and at this point, you'd love to see the 77 lock the brake, hold it down, but instead, just lets it drift and gets more drivers involved that should not have been involved in that at all.
That's so tough for those other guys involved in that. Yeah, that's the stuff you don't want to see happen after a wreck, and some innocent bystanders involved in that one. Sam, is pit road busy right now for sure. Everybody coming down for what will be possibly their final stop of the night.
As drivers get self-service done, Trenton jumped, anywhere, others hoping to get a good launch here. Nick Crawford, he'll be one of the first drivers to take off and go. Reason why? 2-tire call for Nick Crawford. Also going to be seeing the likes of Joshua Kanata taking 2 tires. That one I'm kind of shocked by, to see Kanata take the 2-tire call, as he's been kind of pushed around and bumped around. Might be having a little bit more extra wear on those tires, but instead he'll take the gamble of track position, and Crawford as well. Those will be the only 2 to take 2 tires on this run, and this seems like a very long run to take 2 tires on.
Yeah, that's you took the words right out of my mouth, Sam. I feel like this is maybe a little too far. I mean, only you're gonna know your balance of your truck and how it handles, but from what I've been watching, the trucks look like they get a little bit sideways. You know, the rear ends start to step out as the run goes on. I feel like the 2 tires are only going to exacerbate that condition. Interesting call, but hey, Nick Crawford, we've seen him do things before that has surprised us, and it's worked. So we'll see how it does here.
More surprising, that was his last set of right side tires. He only has left side set left for the rest of this race. He is stuck with what he's got. Same for Joshua Kanata. He's stuck with only taking right side tires. He's got a left side if he wants to come in pit road and take them, but you'd think if this is going to be your last time to take a set of tires, you're taking all 4. But no, that's not going to be the call for himself.
I'd have to exactly agree, Sam. Yeah, if it's going to be your last set, you might as well take all 4, I feel like. You know, because I feel like 2's a gamble, you know, and you would want something for a gamble, like something to fall back on. But hey, these guys are willing to risk it, and we'll see. Maybe Nick Crawford just feels like the track position, the clean air, could be a valuable asset, and it could be what he needs. But this is definitely a little bit longer of a run, I felt like, than what you would see for someone who wants to take 2 tires. And the left sides they got to be pretty worn. I mean, that was at least almost closing in the 30 laps.
We'll see if the 2-tire call was it, or would you have liked to use all 4 as we enter the restart zone for your Pink Horn 400 at Homestead for the ISRC Lara Productions Truck Series. Race number 2 is back underway. It's Nick Crawford and also going to be Trent Jump on the inside. Great launch for themselves. Everyone else 2 wide, 3 wide. Let's see if they can survive, as some were thinking about even 4 wide in the middle of the field.
This is wild right here, Sam. This is showing you right now. Everybody's in go mode. No one's willing to back out of it. And Crawford already on the 2 tires. He is going to be sliding back almost outside the top 5 here already through the first lap, and Jump leading the way. But yeah, it's starting to spiral out of contention here.
Oh, Kanata, also Nick Crawford, both extremely loose. Kanata was the big one as drivers slipping and sliding. It's the 16 who gets tapped, keeps it straight. They're 4 wide in the middle of the field, but Kanata looks out of control. Crawford is barely holding on. That 2-tire call was the worst one to make.
That it was. These guys are going to be out of control at this point until the tires at least start to equalize a little bit, but it's going to be a rough ride for those that tried that. And look at this, John Forbes working the bomb. He's also got back on the lead lap too. with this. I think he was the lucky Dilla last time by, so to say. So he has found his way forward, and somehow the pace is back in that truck. The damage got repaired on the left rear, and I think he's got some pace in him.
Also, other drivers that are inside of our top 10, Joshua Stovall, he's up to 8th and challenging 7th and 6th place currently. Trent Jump is in the lead position with Thomas Green 2nd, Vincent Sora 3rd. They're going side by side up there, but Nick Crawford in the 74, also Josh Kanata in the 16, both are floundering at this moment in just survival mode with the gamble of track position. With over 40 laps still to go in this race, it was a shock to take 2 tires at this point. They took the gamble, and usually the oddball strategy works out for Nick Crawford. Looks like for the first time in his Truck Series career, it did not work out for this 74.
Yeah, that strategy call, I think he's going to go back and say, oh, that was maybe not the right one to make. But yeah, we'll see how he can claw his way out of it, because like you said, it's going to be almost impossible for him to make out of that situation just due to the factor of not having another right set of tires. But I tell you what, getting wild too around that 15th position. You're 3 wide. You got Ferraro around the top. You got Thompson in the middle and Newsom on the bottom.
Oh boy, Ryan Ferraro outside. They squeeze, contact bouncing around. And it's going to be Thomas holding steady. Danny Cochran says, you know what? You guys are pinballing. Let's make it a little bit more difficult. Newsom, squeezing out of that one. Danny Cochran, though, putting a risky call. 3 wide pinball machine. And Newsom almost stuck in another tricky spot as John Force thought for a moment, let's do a classic, go 3 wide again. Instead, the 11 tries the outside groove. Ryan Ferraro blocks it off, sending the 11 almost to the outside wall. Forbes, though, keeps his foot in the throttle. The 10, the 11. Watch out for this run onto the backstretch.
Wow, this is getting wild here. Just 74 still up top, struggling. Everybody trying to find a way around him. Now look at this. John Forbes through the middle here. He's going to have the drive of a lifetime right through there and make the pass, making the excellent call to get past the 74.
I mean, this is John Forbes. This is classic from him, especially in the last 3-4 seasons. It is put your nose wherever you want, and that thing's going to stick. And he does it once again. Now tries to drop back down to the white line where you're conserving your tires for the later run. You're able to sneak through multiple drivers and get into the top 15 for the 11. But for everyone else behind them, they're still 3 wide, stuck and trying to make a way forward. And it's Newsom as well as Ryan Ferraro that just can't get away from one another, and also stuck with them is the 37 of going to be Thomas, who just can't find a way to get through. He's just stuck with this mixture.
This is very, very fun to watch, man. This whole entire group from 21st to the lead is separated by 3 seconds here, folks, at Homestead, and we're 10 laps into a run. So the separation has been wild. Everybody's so close here, and again, 3 wide, Newsom on the bottom. You got Steele in the middle and Crawford up top. It has been
oh my, Zach, look to the front, up to second. If you're the Brown crew, get loud in the chat. Joshua Stovall wants the lead. He's making the passes work now. That 42 is not waiting anymore. He wants the top spot. He just marched from 8th place to 2nd in just 2 laps. Some of the biggest moves and boldest plays here with coming down to these final couple of laps. I don't know if he realizes we still have 30 plus laps to go.
He is ripping it right now for sure. He is using what he's got, and the UPS man is on expedited delivery right now, trying to get to the finish of this race. He is trying to close into the 3, but the 3 kind of has been able to gap him just a little bit here. The 15 of it's sort of course putting pressure on, but can Stovall find his way to the lead here and find a way to his way to victory lane for his first time in a mile and a half?
I mean, like I said before, he has shown great pace. It just wasn't the finishes that he was hoping for. And right now, 2nd place, being challenged by Vincent Sora, who's trying to take that 2nd place position back for himself to the inside, but pinched down. 42 saw these moves from the 15 earlier, and why not give a little bit more back to the 15 as Vincent Sora stuck. Trent Jump might be thinking for a chance to pounce and go forward. Other big moves and drivers that are moving forward. Credit to Logan Brakey, who's up to 13th now and still in charge, trying to get cracked back into the top 10.
Definitely a great job by him to charge back throughout. Yeah, I feel like really that strategy early in the race of the fuel saving got him so far back, but he's showing the reason why he qualified in the top 10 and the top 8. His truck's got speed, so great pass there on Newsom. now trying to set up the 37 of Richard Thompson here as a breakie with a shot here in the top 10 late in the race.
Also in front of them, seeing the driver that we talked to last week on some of his best finishes, his first top 5, Samuel Garcia, trying to go for a top 10 finish to continue on a great streak of just good finishes and great runs as the 50 machine runs just outside the top 10. One driver to spin around. It's Eric Stipp once again, wrecking on the backstretch and into the inside wall.
And he's going to be stuck down there as he's going to get it back going. And there's going to be no yellow flag for that as he's going to stay there for a moment and now finally get that truck back right of the way. And that's a tough break for Eric Stamp, who has been having a great run tonight other than that spin. Was trying to work his way back but just couldn't find it. But here, look at this, the 42 of Stovall. He's under threat. The 15 of Vincent Sora wants to find his way back around him.
They continue to bicker back and forth, and it's Thomas Green who leads the way up front. Vincent Sora, our charges down to the inside, not able to get there. Just, I mean, it's crazy to see this 15. I know for Vincent Sora, he doesn't want to watch Thomas Green or others kind of drive away, but with the amount of pressure that Stovall went with, if you're Vincent Sora, I think staying patient isn't the worst strategy call to make, because save this set of tires. This is your last set that some of these guys have used, and might as well hold on and stay. Here is going to be your Whiplash Simcam's biggest mover currently with 30 laps to go. It's the 3 machine of Thomas Green. Again, if you want to check out some great cameras that you can find and place on iRacing, go over to Whiplash Simcams today on Facebook. Thank you again for being our sponsor of the biggest mover, as Thomas Green has the best racing action in his mirror that he's watching right now.
That he does, and Vince Sora needs to get this job done here. He's going to clear Joshua Stovall to move back to second, and Stovall going to look to the inside here off the exit. I think that was a little bit maybe loose, but Vince Sora going to look to cover that position off for the time being. But it's about to heat up here a little bit, Sam. I'm watching this group here. They've been running their laps here, doing their thing. There is a new contender in town, and you can see him there on the backstretch. He's at 6 car in line. That's the 11 of John Forbes, folks. He is back in. He has been making light work of traffic. He's just been going through, and if you're Vincent Sawyer, you're Thomas Green, and Trenton Jumps, Joshua Stovall, Jared Talmadge, you better get the move on because the 11's coming.
Well, you said the 11 of John Forbes, but that 27, last week's winner, Jared Talmadge, he's been looking quick too. He's been one of the fastest drivers on track the last couple of laps, and he's staying on the back bumper of Trent Jump. I think he's waiting on wherever Jump goes, the 27 will follow. He's putting zero pressure on making some passes. He recognizes this could be a long run race, and I need to have these tires in peak condition for the final 20 laps.
And it does, and we'll see who can hold back this 11 right now, because I think he's going to be on the prowl. Even though he's had to use some tire up, he's definitely had to push to get his way up here. He's had excellent long run speed. Even on that longer run before we came to pit road for the first run of the race, it was him that was a tenth and a half quicker than anybody in the field. When this goes into those final 20, final 15, final 10 laps, watch for the 11 to be a big mover.
Well, it's time to make some moves up front. Battle for third is done and dusted. Joshua Stovall going to be passed by Trent Jump. Now Jared Talmadge bounces to the outside, trying to get by the 42, and it was fun to watch in the moment that it happened, but I think a little bit too giddy was the 42 going with that passive move with over 35 laps still to go at that time that he moved up to second place. Just maybe a little bit too soon was that Brown crew. Instead, we look at some of the other drivers. Like we said, John Forbes is on the charge, but it's the teammates from Elwood Design Esports. It's going to be seen that Nico Garcia, Danny Ware, both have also tagged along to the rear bumper of the 11 of John Forbes, and they're now going to be moved forward. Our top going to be 8 drivers within a second and a half of one another, and one's falling out, that's Stovall, but the other 7 in our top 8 all still with a fighting chance for this win.
Oh, for sure. This is by no means over for anybody in this top 8. They all have a shot. Even Danny Ware back here with Nico Garcia right in front of them. They've been very, very quick on the long run, and they're continuing the run really with right on match with Thomas Green up front. And right now, Vincent Sora is on the back bumper of that 3 machine for the lead. he just hasn't been able to find a way to get side by side yet. He's been about this close for the last lap and a half, but at some point, the 15 is going to have to find his way around if he wants to go win this race.
Other drivers note that we're going to try their best to catch up if possible. Danny Cochran, also Richard Thomas, but the battle for the lead is now underway. Vincent Sora no longer wait. He wants the pounce with 23 laps to go. Sora bounces to the outside groove. He'll fall back in line. Did not have the run that he was hoping for. Mike goes with the switchback move, and he does to the inside. They'll stay side by side. It's a drag race to turn 3, and the 3 looks to be a sitting duck as Thomas Green really just has to do everything in his power to hold back the 15, while Vincent Sora looks like he's just waiting for whenever he feels like it's time to make the pass, and the pass is now. Sora back to the point.
To the lead, and now the 3 going to side draft here into 1, but I think with the nose ahead this time, the 15 in a much better position to hold the 3 down, and right here off the exit, all the speed, everything going to be given to the 15 with Vincent Sora as he makes the pass for the lead, but John Forbes and Joshua Stovall go around.
Stovall into the outside wall. John Forbes continues to race on, but Stovall, he was already dealing with wounded tires, but that damage is not going to assist him moving forward. We stay green with a 42. There is a lot of front end damage on that right side that he's dealing with. He is struggling on the outside groove.
And it all was the 11 trying to make the move, the slide job move off the exit. He was clear, but as he goes to clear up the racetrack, the 11's rear end steps out on him, and unfortunately the 42 was there, and it kind of just put them together here. As I think we're going to go back and actually get a look at this here, Sam, and this is tough for Stovall. I mean, really nothing he could do about this, and really just, I think Forbes caught off guard with his truck stepping out like that.
They were already almost making contact down into turn number 1, but it was the exit of turn 2 when they made the contact. Stovall going all the way up to that high seam. And then John Forbes thought he was completely clear and just slides right up in the 42. Most of that damage going to Stovall. Forbes continues to race on. He's challenged by Danny Wary in 5th place. Forbes will fall to 6th. He might fall even further more down, but Stovall from a heroic charge up to 2nd position, now banking and hoping for at least a top 20 finish after tonight. Frustration going to be mounting for that Brown crew after what was looking like one of his best mile-and-a-half runs for Joshua Stovall.
Such a tough break for him, and yeah, I mean, you know, Forbes going for it there, trying to make the clear move on him, and just loses the rear and slides up into him, and that's just hard racing between those two. I mean, Stovall, I think, probably going to go back and look at that and even say, I probably shouldn't even have been there, just due to the fact of me burning up the tires just a little bit, trying to get to that lead. So it's tough, man. It's always tough to know when is the time to go and when it's too early.
As drivers up front, it's Nico Garcia now trying to set up a way to get by the 11, and John Forbes, even with that mishap, still fighting and clawing for every position to hold these drivers back, not able to stop the 78. He'll move up to 6. Now Danny Cochran will set up to get by the 11, and for Forbes, his fight for these spots is not over. I think a top 10 now might be in the mindset with less than 20 laps to go. Maybe a top 10, but I don't know how much further Forbes can really hold off these drivers, because the damage he's dealing with, the tire wear, the heat, it just seems like it's too much for Forbes to really stop every driver in this conveyor belt of drivers that are getting by him.
It does seem like the struggle is continuing on for him. And the left rear damage right there that he had, that is the same damage he had earlier. And oh, Thompson coming up to get the side draft there, you saw on the camera. He was getting very aggressive with it, trying to get to the left rear quarter panel that 11 to pull him back. And we'll see, can Forbes hold on, but I just think he's a little bit too loose. You can see right there, even both of them just a little bit loose here off the exit of the corner, leaning on each other. Is Forbes going to keep it together? But no, the 37 into him.
Almost the same exact moment happening again, and it's going to set up Samuel Garcia now to go to the inside of the 37 machine for 9th place, or maybe a chance for 8th, but watch out for John Forbes. This run of can he hold on? How long can he hold off drivers, and how much of a temper can these drivers really hold back? Because this 11 is making some bold moves to hold back these drivers, and Garcia able to make the pass now up to 8th.
He is loose. The truck just goes into the corner. The left front gets lower than the left rear, and that just means the truck's rotating a ton towards the infield. And he's just trying to hang on at this point. John Forbes, that damage and just the overheating of the tires is going to be too much to hold on for him, as he was trying to have a heroic performance back through the field. Just not going to close out tonight at Homestead the way he wants.
Thomas able to finally get by. Now his sights will be set on, can he run down the 50 machine and get by? Also going to be Isaac Shelley behind them with a chance to maybe fight for Logan Brakey with the chance to get inside of the top 10 after his woes. A couple of more drivers have called it an evening. Eric Stamp, who we saw have his incident earlier on, he has called it a night, and joining now is going to be Justin Forbes with their race being over. The battle for third is still raging on between Trent Jump and Jared Talmadge. And Talmadge, I think there's more pace in the 27, but he can't find the spacing to get by this 46 machine to really challenge our top two. It's every lap just losing more and more ground on a chance to go after Vincent Sora.
That is, yeah, he's just losing time to be able to go get up there and challenge him. But, you know, Jump is doing a good job of just being able to run the wall very, very well. He's consistent up there, too. He's just enters right against it and stays pretty much about a half a truck to a truck off it throughout the whole distance. And you see Talmadge, he's able to pull alongside through the corner there, get completely up the side of here on the straightaway. That'll allow him to side draft, but just too much momentum from that top side. That allows the 46 back to pull alongside, and just very tough for this 27 to get it done with the 46 just being pretty consistent with his exits and his center speed up top.
Seesawing back and forth on who's being the lead driver for third, but they're losing major ground to first and second as Vincent Sora looks in his mirror with 13 laps to go. This race, if we stay green, is looking to be all Vincent Sora. But if we get a late caution, it can really change things up. There's a couple of drivers still with an extra set of tires waiting in the wings just in case we get a late yellow. But I'm looking around at some of the closer battles that are happening. There's not a lot of super close ones going on. Here's the battling that's happening for 11th. It's Isaac Shelley, Logan Brakey, Noah Steele. That this is one of the closer ones in the middle of the pack. Trent Jump, Jared Talmadge, who we're watching. They're also one of the closer battles. Everywhere else, oh no! Diving down low, I believe that's the 71 and Newsom, who goes for a riding stick, keeps it off the wall. He'll back on track, but there's a little bit of a scare for a moment. Also another scare further on back is Nick Crawford. I might have thrown a curse out. I'm sorry for Vincent Sora if that's the case, because I know he wants to get into victory lane.
Yeah, I think the two tires here not hanging on well. Him and Kanata, Nick Crawford and Kanata. I mean, I looked at Crawford at one point. You know, he was a top 8 truck really here tonight throughout the majority of the runs. And I mean, it takes two tires here. He's 18 seconds off the lead after being the leader after the pit stop. So two tires, I don't think has been the right call, fortunately for them, as it's been a lot of hanging on for them. But right now, it's the hang on for third for Trent Jump, because he's had Jared Talmadge, I mean, side by side for at least the past 10 laps challenging him.
And Jared Talmadge is kind of getting fed up. He's just another lap. I mean, over the radio, he is just wanting this position. But it is not easy. This is what the field was kind of concerned about entering tonight, was how hard it was going to be once everyone got spread out to make passes, because the outside lane was so dominant. Talmadge hoping to get fully clear, but can't. Once again, has to wait for another opportunity to get out of this 46. And with this battling back and forth, I mean, it's going to throw away a chance for Jared Talmadge to really even go after Thomas Green, his teammate of this 27 machine.
Completely agree. Yeah, that is losing the value of time, because they're both actually running side by side like this quicker than Thomas Green. So if you know, Jarrett cleared Trent Jump here, they would easily climb up to that 3's back bumper. But I think right here, finally, the 46 mistake, that's going to allow the 27 to slide up here. The 46 might try to pull a crossover, but the 27 is going to have the position on the outside. And this should be the spot you want to be in. You just can't let the 46 pull a slider. And what does Jump do? Off to the bottom, and he's going to be sliding to the wall.
Sending it all the way to the inside with a slide job move. Keeps the nose ahead, but here's Jared Talmadge keeping the momentum, foot in the throttle, no give up. The 27 finally able to clear for that third place position, but he goes down low. He now is going to see the momentum from Trent Jump. Can Jump get another ridiculous run to get back to the inside?
We'll see if he can get there. He's got a huge amount of momentum here. He might look to the inside here down to one. Will he try to pull another slider? And it will be another slide job maneuver all the way to the bottom and up to the top. But I think the 27 going to have a much bigger run here this time. The 46, though, not getting loose like he did, with a little bit of a bobble.
little bit of a bobble, a slip and slide. They'll stay side by side going down into turn number 3 and finally fully passed into turn 3. Great job by the 27 of Jared Talmadge. I know it was frustrating for all these laps being stuck side by side, but all that hard work rewarded. Finally third, and now put the pressure to catch up to your teammate of Thomas Green. As all that's happening, I know up front, Vincent Sora is loving the fact that now he's up to 2 seconds over second place. And it looks like that is going to be a solidifying position if we can stay clean and green. But staying green will be a tough question because there's a couple of other battles that are starting to close up. The battle happening for 10th place. We got about 3 drivers on top of one another. That's Richard Thomas, Isaac Shelley, as well as Logan Brakey. They're all fighting to see who can be inside of the top 10 here.
This is what Logan Brakey's been fighting for, man. I said he would have a possible shot at the top 10 later, and he is here fighting for it side by side with Shelley. He's going to have the 10th spot for the time being, but can he drive off here into 1 and get clear? It's going to try the patient approach on the bottom, try to get the run up off the corner, get clear of this 98, and he's going to be there off the exit of the corner with the 98. Too much momentum on the top side. Isaac Shelley fighting back for that final 10th position.
And they got to be careful. The more they battle side by side, the more it's pulling in Cody Reed. Yes, it's 5 laps to go, soon to be 4 when Vincent Sora crosses the line, but Cody Reed is running faster than Noah Steele ahead of him, and these 2 drivers, that 25, could be sneaking, as now finally ahead is Logan Brakey. Shelley showing no signs of fighting back. He'll stay to the outside as Cody Reed looks forward, sees Steele as well as Shelley. Brakey, we'll see how many more of these positions at 25 can try to grab back for himself, but this is some of the closest for position battling that's happening right now. Zach up front, all Vincent Sora. What a job on his part. Started all the way back in 30th, decided not to qualify, worked his way through all this traffic, and now leads this race where we had a feeling he was going to be with showing up here tonight.
Well, Sam, you know, I got to give you credit, man. You picked them to win the race. So it looks like, you know, commentators here are going to go back to back with our picks here. If this stays green is, Sam with, you know, not getting last week, I got last week. It's going to be 1-1 now. So we're going to see how this goes now. Oh, actually,
yeah,
I think Robert got 2, right?
Robert, he's looking for picks to get. Robert he's got 0 picks so far, but that's if Vincent Sora wins. It would be 1-1-0 as Robert Moyer Jr. still looking for that pick to win. As Vincent Sora up front, a lap and a half to go before he can find himself potentially into victory lane. He's looking for the white flag, and the big thing is that if we don't get the white flag, caution flag comes out, this race will go into overtime. But looking up to the flag stand, it's Vincent Sora with your gridless graphics. White flag for this 15 machine. Zach, what a charge, what a run, and now it's just hit your marks and victory is yours.
That it is. He's had an excellent job all night working his way through, played his cards right with the strategy, and he's done everything available to him here to get the victory tonight.
Vincent Sora, I mean, every charge that he goes for, you know he's going to be one of the favorites to watch out for. And here tonight, Vinny, after all the hard work, doesn't have to worry about longer. He is back into victory lane as he will be the winner of your Pinkhorn 400 here tonight. Woo, this 15, untouchable at late in this run.
He was excellent all throughout the night, but that last run was his best one, and that's when the money was on the line. So good job for the 15. He's going to get the first victory of the season early for that crew.
As Vinny's last win, road course racing, all the way back, it's going to be Canadian Tire for himself. Happy to see that he's back in the victory lane and all the hard work, and he finally gets to just celebrate this one. I know Vincent Sora, again, a part of the group that's, are they running full-time, part-time? They still don't know, but what a charge for the 15. Started back in 30th, was able to make all the way up to the lead position. Officially, though, your Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover will go, though, to the 3 of Thomas Green. Congratulations to all the drivers finishing out here tonight. I know there's going to be some controversy on some of the moves that were made here tonight, But we are excited to talk to at least our top 3 and a spotlight driver on tonight's running as Vincent Sora takes the victory. We will be back for the post-race show right after this, so do not leave. We'll be back in just a short minute.
All right, we are back here, folks, for the Pink Horn 400 here at the ISRC Truck Series as we come to the conclusion of race number 2 here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. It was an excellent battle all night long, but our race winner is going to be the 15 of Vincent Sora getting his first victory of the season. Let's talk to our race winner about tonight here at Homestead. Vincent, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy?
I hear you, man.
Well, buddy, congrats on the win. Take us through the thoughts and feelings after that victory, man. First one since Canadian Tire.
Yeah, and this is my first oval win in like 2 seasons. I think my last one was Iowa back in season 6 or whatever it was, 2 seasons ago. Yeah, man, I'm really happy. Homestead has always been one of my better tracks, if not my best on the service. So I expected to have really good pace here tonight. And all of us kind of decided not to qualify. And you know, we're here this season. Didn't know if we were going to run it, and still don't know if we're going to run full time. But we just want to have fun and not take it as seriously. And I think that honestly helped a lot. We came from the back tonight and worked our way through traffic early, and just kind of figured things out in the first run. I hurt my right rear a little bit more than I wanted to in the first run, just having to work through all the traffic and run the different lines and stuff. But After we got a run where I was up in like the top 5 and I could just kind of run my tires the way I wanted to and watch the guys around me, I knew I would be really quick on the long run. And once we finally got a couple of them there, I was able to show my strengths and get to the lead. And then at the end there, I was watching Thomas, and I knew if I got around him once, it was going to be really tough for him to get back around me, just because of how hard I saw him working his tires off. So luckily, I was able to pass him there, and he worried me for a second because I thought with him ripping the top, if he got back around me, then I wouldn't be able to get back around him. But I took his line away once, and then it was pretty much over from there.
That's kind of where I was going to go, Vinny, is, we've seen him after you make the pass for the lead there. He moves. I mean, he's literally against the wall, and he's making decent time there to definitely, make you look in the mirror. How hard is it to kind of stick to your game plan of, nice and consistent on the bottom and not just, go immediately just to continuously run the wall like he was doing?
Yeah, it's super tough, especially when you see him making that time, like you said. I mean, he went from falling back pretty quickly to breaking even and gaining on me on some corners. So, yeah, I knew that he was going to burn his right rear off really quick doing that. And I figured if I stayed patient, then it probably wasn't going to matter. But the one time where he got to my back bumper, I was like, all right, I got to do something different here because I can't just let him walk around me on the outside. And like I said, once I did that and put him back in the dirty air, it heated his tires up even more, and then it's pretty much over for him from there.
Definitely will. It seemed that way from the booth up here, man. I mean, it was a clinical win from yourself tonight, but this next week coming up, we got Watkins Glen coming up. How are you feeling about that? I mean, we've seen you win on the road courses in the past, but definitely have some strong competition always here.
Yeah, I feel really confident on a road course. I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to put into it, but Watkins Glen is one of my better ones. I think I'm the defending winner there, and I won both road courses last season. So hopefully with just a little bit of prep time and the right changes to my trucks with the brake and whatever else I can see to make it drive a little bit better, I can go 2 in a row.
Well, Vinny, we'll have to see how that all works out for you next week, man. Congrats on the victory. But before we let you get out here and go celebrate with your teammates and your friends, anybody wants to send a shout out to?
Yeah, you guys up in the booth. I feel like it's been a while since I've got to talk to you. I've had a couple wins slip away and some good finishes here lately. So nice to be talking to you guys again. Shout out to everybody in the lead. We had a really good car count tonight and a really clean race, and a lot of new guys that are running up in the top 10, and it's really nice to see that. Shout out to all the sponsors that make this possible, and then everybody on my team at Cochran Sora Forbes Racing.
And that was your race winner here tonight, folks. Vincent Sora. We'll hear from him, I'm sure, throughout the season. Vincent, congrats on your win, and we'll catch you next time, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Like I said, that was your race winner. What a job by him tonight to pull off his first victory. And like he said, first time on an oval in quite some time. It's definitely been some, I know, talking to Vinny off of the broadcast has been a talking subject for him and that he wants to get an oval win. So great job for him. But now we'll move on to our second place driver here tonight. And that's going to be the driver in the 3 machine, Thomas Green. He did an excellent job to fight Vince Soroff, just couldn't hold him back enough. But great fight through for him and was the biggest mover of the night. So definitely an excellent job by him for that. So let's talk to him. Hey, Thomas, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, Thomas, man, you put on quite a show for us, man. You are our biggest mover of the night, working your way through the field from 33rd all the way to 2nd and in contention to win it there. What else did you need to hold Vincent back, man? That was quite a battle.
Yeah, I think I might have needed a little bit more of my right rear tire, but yeah, we had a really great battle, and then not qualifying coming from the back of the field is a lot more fun. I feel like you can kind of be a little bit more relaxed and just kind of enjoy the race and make passes and stuff. And I feel like you learn a lot too when you do it like that. But yeah, hats off to Vinny. I mean, that was an awesome race, and a really good battle with him, and it always is. It's always a really clean, hard battle with Vinny. So yeah, just hats off to everybody. That was an awesome race, a lot of fun.
Definitely was a great show you guys put on. And, you brought up a great point, Thomas. Working your way through, you learn a lot of things. What do you feel like were some of the valuable things that you kind of learned throughout the night that put you in position there at the end to, have everything in your tools?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it is kind of feeling out the tires, especially at Homestead. It's really easy to burn up either the right front or the right rear, just the right side in general, running different lanes, putting a lot of throttle into the corners, how deep you go in, how much you brake, how much you lift. I think it definitely helps on the longer run when you're trying to figure out where to be and where to put your car and what clean air you should be in, what lane you should be running. But I think Vinny kind of had me covered already to begin with. So it was tough to kind of match what he was doing. But yeah, I mean, you definitely learn a lot as you go through the field, and it definitely helped towards the end there. Try to manage my stuff, and once I realized I wasn't going to catch him, not fall back to third or fourth.
Definitely showed there, man. Quite a great run for you here tonight, bringing home second early in the season. And next week we go road racing at Watkins Glen. Thomas, how do you feel about that upcoming?
I'm excited just because I've been working more on the road stuff, and definitely gonna have to put a lot of laps in. But yeah, I mean, it should be a lot of fun. Watkins Glen is always just awesome to race at. It's just a great track, and one that I don't know exactly where I'm going to be, but we've put in some laps recently there, so we'll see. We'll see how it pans out.
Well, I'm hoping the best for you, man. It's definitely been a great start of the season for you here with this run tonight. Before we let you get out of here, anybody want to send a shout out to Thomas?
Big shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast and putting this all on. And shout out to everyone that does get involved in this league and everyone that makes this possible for us to come out and have awesome battles on the track and good races. And big shout out to my team for all the work that we all put in for every race and all the information that we share. And big shout out to my girlfriend Anna for all the love and support. It's been a while since I've been able to shout her out here on ISRC, but she watches every race, cheers me on. So big shout out to her.
Definitely a great night for you, Thomas, man. Congrats on second, and we will catch you next week at Watkins Glen, buddy.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, folks. That was your second place finisher here tonight of Thomas Green. An excellent run from him, putting up quite the battle between him and Vincent Sora. Just not able to bring home that victory, one spot short, but still an excellent night. Next, we'll go on to the driver that fought so hard for third, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that battle between him and Trenton Jump. It's Jared Thomas, your third place finisher tonight, and your winner from last week. Hey, Jared, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hi, I do.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, another excellent run. You win last week at Daytona to open up the season opener, and then you come out here and you run third. And that was a hard fought third, too. I mean, take us through it because it definitely wasn't easily given to you.
I mean, I gotta, first thing, I mean, that was one of the most fun league races I've been a part of. Like, shout out to everybody for keeping that as clean as it was and the green flag runs. No, it wasn't an easy fought third place. Coming from the back, I joined in on the fun shenanigans there, and it was a fun drive through the field. Got a little bit of left rear damage there early on, and I drove like it didn't have a left rear on it, so I was glad to see that one yellow. We got it repaired, and I mean, we got up to the front.
You definitely did get there, man. You definitely put on a show for us. I mean, take us through the battle with Trenton there. I mean, that was an excellent battle between you two. He was ripping the wall. You were committed to the bottom. It took a lot of patience, I'm sure, from you to complete that pass.
Yeah, that was. There was a couple times where I was so close, and he just get there. And the one time he crossed me over, an incredible amount of patience was needed for that because it's just I knew eventually with him running the wall, he would destroy his tires. So if I just committed to what I was doing, I would get him. It took a little bit longer than expected, but that was really fun racing him there. But yeah, that was a damn good race.
It was definitely a great show, man. You guys put on quite a battle, and we got to watch a lot of it. So thank you for putting on the show there, Jared. Next week we go road course racing at Watkins Glen. I talked to the other two guys about how they're feeling. How you feeling about going to Watkins Glen for the third race?
We've been on the podium twice in two races. First and a third. I'd be willing to put down the money in my bank account. You will not be seeing this 27 car on the podium next week. I gotta do some practice. I'm not great at road courses in the stock cars, so I'll hit up the practice and see what adjustments we can make to find some speed and hopefully come away with another top 10 and just keep the momentum that we got rolling for the season.
It definitely will be key for you, man. I know, I know that this season's been a great start for you. I'm sure Watkins Glen, it's gonna be a little bit of a bump, but I'm sure after you get to Chicagoland, you're gonna be right back rolling. So we'll see how it goes for you next week. But before we let you get out here, Jared, anybody wants to shout out to, man?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. All the admins who run the league, everyone who races in the league. Shout out to my teammates, Thomas, Ike, and JT, and yeah.
All righty, buddy. Well, congrats on
wait,
third.
wait.
Oh, go ahead.
I will not forget. Shout out to Justin Forbes for the paint. I'm so bad at that. Shout out to him. ×3. Alrighty.
There you go, folks. You heard from Jared Talmadge. Shout out to Justice Force with Gridless Graphics, one of the sponsors here at ISRC. So we definitely have to give a shout out to them. But thank you, Jared. Congrats on third, man. And we'll catch you next week at Watkins Glen.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Like I said, that was your third place driver, and what a night it was for him. He was a great interview there as he showed enthusiasm with his third place finish. I'm sure we'll be seeing some more of that driver up here in the podiums. He might not be Watkins Glen next week, but expect Jared Talmadge to continue his podium run here in a few coming weeks. We've seen some big things from him for sure. So we'll conclude our post-race interviews there, and we're going to bring up our unofficial results of the night's race, and I'll run through this, and we'll also bring Robert Moyer Jr. up here as he's going to help me close out tonight's broadcast. But you can see here are our official results. Vincent Sora, of course, bringing home that first victory of the season for him here at the Pink Horn 400 at Homestead for the ISRC Truck Series, brought to you by Larry Arts Productions. But Thomas Green, second place there in the 3 machine. His teammate Jared Talmadge going to come home in third. Fourth's going to go to Trenton Jump. Great run for him tonight, starting up second, and really put on a show all night for us up there. Danny Ware, newcomer to the league in the 35, he's going to finish 5th. Nico Garcia going to finish 6th. The 2 teammates there from Elwood Designs. Danny Cochran, of course, there in the 7th position, fought from the back. 8th, great run for Samuel Garcia. 9th, it's going to be Richard Thomas after an EOL early. And 10th is going to go to Logan Breaky, rounding out the top 10 for him for the Armadillo Motorsports team. As you look through the rest of the order, definitely some wild finishes and some strategy calls that went wrong for others. But Robert, we had quite a show here tonight. It was fun. How was it from the production booth as you got to watch along with us?
Oh, it was crazy, Zach, watching these guys tonight. This track is it's fun to race, and side by side, and no give. And as you seen here tonight, it was just a lot of hard battling, all the way through the field here tonight, Zach. Man, what a blast!
Definitely was a blast, Robert. As we conclude the results there, it has been a pleasure here tonight, everybody. And the show doesn't stop here. Of course, we have more broadcasts. Of course, on Wednesday night, you have the WSSR Cup Series. They are going to be going to their second round of their playoffs. I'm involved in that, and I tell you, I'm very nervous. So if you want to watch some nervous drivers with a lot on the line, make sure you tune in Wednesday night at 8:50 Eastern, and you'll be able to see quite the show there with the Next Gen Cup Series cars. Then back, of course, here on Monday nights. We're always live here with the ISRC Truck Series, and there'll be road course racing. So we're going to see quite a show next week, Robert, as they go twisting and turning around Watkins Glen.
Oh, that is true. But what's going to be very interesting, if you really want to tune in on Wednesday night, it's going to be I do the new layout of what's the word? The updated New Hampshire that iRacing, model that iRacing just put out. The track's supposed to look more realistic. The grandstands to all the way around the whole track is going to have more bling, more pop, more everything. And also, like you said, on Wednesday night, New Hampshire second round, there's going to be some beating and banging and sliding and hitting, and it's going to be fun to watch.
That it really will. It's going to be nerve-wracking from not only my standpoint as I'm a driver there, but sure up in the booth, you guys are going to be sitting there on the edge of your seats going, oh no, who's going to put themselves in bad positions, as we know how playoff racing can be. So we got 2 different folds here going on. You got one league starting their season here at ISRC, just getting the ball rolling. And of course, we got WSSR getting ready to close out their season here in these playoffs. But it's definitely, I think, 2 great things to have on your schedule if you love sim races. So make sure, again, you not only if you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, hit that thumbs up button, everybody, but also hit the bell notification button and subscribe so you can be notified every time we go live, so you can see some great sim racing action like we have here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And I gotta thank everybody for tuning in. Also, thank you to Sam Dyer he didn't get to close out with us here tonight, but he did an excellent job, so we definitely gotta give him a shout out. And then I'm gonna leave the floor here to Robert as he's gonna give a shout out to some of our sponsors and close out tonight's broadcast.
That is correct. All right. Thank you to Larry R's production here for tonight's race here at the IRC Truck Series at Homestead. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed that show that we just put on here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with them guys. And also, I want to give a shout out to Whiplash Sim Cams. Make sure you go check them out. Just look them up on Google. You'll be able to find their website. They have custom made track packs for any track that you want for iRacing to get them nice looking cameras to do your screenshots and your nice photos that you put out there in the iRacing community world. So make sure you go check them out. I want to say thank you for them to come along and help us out. They're a proud sponsor of the Biggest Mover that you will see the rest of the year here on Monday nights and Wednesday nights. They will be the primary Biggest Mover of the race for the first half, second half of that race. So maybe your driver can get picked and be the biggest mover of the race. So thank you again to Whiplash Sim Cams for helping us here at Freaky Fast. But with that being said, we're gonna send it off. We're gonna say goodnight to everybody. Hopefully everybody has a great rest of your Monday night evening. But if you want to see more action-packed racing, don't forget to check out on Wednesday night WSSR as they head to their playoff round number 2 at New Hampshire Speedway at 8:50 here on Freaky Fab Broadcasting. But until then, I want to say to everybody out there, God bless, love yous all, peace out.